How goes it? How goes it? Let's see here. Dum da da dum. So, when we left off, we were just about to get into the case. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Stretch. Dun, dun, dun. I'm ready to continue the game. Actually, I really like this game. But I guess, the fact that we're almost that we'll be finishing the second case out of 5 within the past few days kind of shows just how much I've been enjoying the game. Let's see. Load. Okay, yeah, we were just about to walk in. Alright. It's time for the trial. Just take deep breaths and relax. Let's just make sure. Okay. Hi, Tyrion. God, Celeste? Don't sneak up on me like that. Why are you so nervous? It's not as if this is your first time defending someone. I can't help it. There's something about this building that just fills me with anxiety. It's too bad Ruby couldn't make it. I'd say that you should calm down for Wallace's sake, but there's so many people here. And they're all staring at me. Their eyes are prying into me like a pack of flesh-eating maggots. Gross. Don't worry, Wallace. Our investigation revealed a lot of weaknesses in the prosecution's case. We have a strong case for your acquittal. Okay. See? You can be confident when you want to be. Strange. Something is calming about Wallace's anxiety. It's like he just absorbs the tension out of you and into himself. Court is now in session for the trial of Wallace Nightgrave. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready. Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges? The defendant is a student at the Wyvern Guard Imperial Academy. Mr. Nightgrave is charged with first-degree murder, negligent misuse of the arcane arts, and illegal practice of advanced necromancy. Necromancy? You mean to tell me that the defendant is a necromancer? I can't believe it. A necromancer? In this day and age? How could the kingdom let this happen? Your Honor, I would like to remind the court that they should view my client objectively. Of course, one can easily see it from the list of charges. Necromancy plays a large role in the charges. Indeed, the crime occurred within the academy this morning. The victim is Catherine Bellwether, a professor at the school. Although there were no witnesses, traces of necromancy were detected on the body. Furthermore, the autopsy report shows that the body had no physical wounds. I see. Necromancy is the only type of magic that can harm an individual without physically wounding them. Additionally, the alchemist's report shows no signs of poison or disease. Therefore, one can only conclude that a necromancer had committed the crime. As many of you know, necromancy is held under high scrutiny by the Crown. Aside from the defendant, no other students were permitted to learn advanced necrotic magic. As such, the defendant was the only mage in that building capable of committing the murder. I see. That is certainly compelling evidence. To properly present our case, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orm White to the stand. Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings. Yeah. It started when the City Watch got a call from the Imperial Academy. Someone was attacked and the whole building was put on lockdown. We set up a perimeter around the area and waited for the lockdown system to deactivate. When we finally got into that building, the prosecutor personally inspected the body and detected traces of necromancy on it. There were no cuts or bruises on the body either. The entire body was clean. With those two pieces of evidence, we concluded that it could only be the necromancer kid that did it. The Inquisition's testimony is just as you expected. You've already found and identified the holes in Steelman's case. All you have to do is find that hole in the commander's testimony. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. It can only be the necromancer kid that did it. Oh yeah, we have to read through all the spells. I'm gonna read through all these because I just skipped through them all yesterday because I didn't want to read all that because I knew I was gonna forget. Prestidigitation. Fuck, I still can't read that. Whatever. We're gonna call it Presto. School of Evocation, Incantation none, Gesture, a snap of the fingers, Duration indefinitely, Concentration yes. Caster creates a simple and harmless visual effect around their hand. This effect will last for as long as they maintain concentration on the spell. Mend wounds, School Necromancy, Incantation menace, Gesture none, Duration 1 minute, Concentration no. Heals the wounds of the target over the casting time. Wounds on the target are magically healed without leaving any scars or bruises. This spell can't restore missing limbs, nor can it revive someone who has already died. Illusory Disguise, School Illusion, Incantation Illusio, Gesture none, Duration 1 hour, Concentration no. Place an illusion on the target to completely change their visual appearance. The disguise moves with the target for the duration. The disguise can make the target look 1 foot larger or smaller. Elements hidden by the spell are made invisible, and elements created by the spell are purely visual. You cannot make physical contact with it. Revive, School Necromancy, Incantation Vivify, Gesture none, Duration instant, Concentration no. Floods the target with life energy in an attempt to resuscitate them. It does not heal wounds sustained. Results may vary, but it cannot resuscitate someone who has been dead for more than a minute. Animate Corpse, School Necromancy, Incantation Necros, Gesture none, Duration 8 hours, Concentration no. Reanimates the target using life energy, creating an undead minion for the duration. The minion follows the caster's orders, but its intelligence is limited and it cannot speak. The minion can end the spell prematurely. The minion can end its spell prematurely, but will only do so if ordered to by the caster. Once the spell is ended, the undead will return to being a dead body. Necrotic Blight, School Necromancy, Incantation Blighto, Gesture, Point, Index Finger, Duration, Instant, Concentration, no. Pulls all of the life energy from the target, resulting in instant death. The spell does not wound the target, nor does it leave any physical evidence, but it still leaves a magical trace. Okay, let's press. And the prosecution believes that my client used Necrotic Blight. Yup, it's the only way that the crime scene makes any sense. Necrotic Blight. I'm afraid I've never heard of this spell before. Necrotic Blight is a spell that drains the life force from its target. When used on a living human, it makes their bodily functions cease. When used on a living human, it makes their body function cease, instantly killing them. I see. What a horrible spell. That child should have never been allowed to learn something like that. What were they thinking? Having that spell is not doing Wallace any favors. We already investigated the crime scene, so we know that the Inquisition's theory contradicts one of the clues that we found. Right, all I have to do is present that contradiction to the court, and it's easy. It's even in the spell, the compendium. So we should be able to the blood stain. There's a pool of blood. Strange because she wouldn't have been wounded.
Objection!
Huh. What's that? Let me try pressing the other stuff. I probably have to press something else. Carefully was the body checked. Perhaps the prosecution missed something. The coroner couldn't find even the smallest cut, bruise, or fracture on the body. Furthermore, the alchemist's report showed no signs of poison or disease. The coroner was actually astounded at how unscathed the body was. It makes sense. If someone had used mend wounds on the body, it would have healed even the most minor of injuries. The question is, how do you prove that? Check. That's not what I was trying to do. 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm finding out. Why did the prosecutor inspect the body instead of the Inquisition? Well, I conducted the investigation is irrelevant to the proceedings, or would you like to insinuate that I'm not as competent as Commander White? You don't question her competency, but it's still a bizarre decision on her part. While the court admits that the prosecutor's actions are unorthodox, we see no reason to question the prosecutor's abilities. Thank you, Your Honor. That's not going to change anything. Wait. This is what's contradictory. The bloodstain. So it's not that it wasn't the bloodstain, it's just that I used it in the wrong spot. The entire body wasn't clean. Objection! Yep. Okay. Commander White, it appears that you've neglected to mention one key detail of the crime scene. Yeah? And what's that? During your testimony, you said that the entire body was clean. I will admit that there weren't any wounds on the body. However, the body was certainly not clean. At the scene of the crime, there was a large pool of blood located where the body was. This blood came from the victim's body, and it was definitely not clean like the commander testified. I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but I fail to see the significance of this. I'd like to remind the court of the prosecution's case against my client. They are accusing him of murdering the victim using necrotic blight, a spell which would not have physically wounded the victim. So why was there any blood at all? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The fact still stands there were no wounds on the body, nor were there any reports of poison or disease on the autopsy. There are clearly magical elements in this case. But Catherine Bellwether was bleeding profusely at some point. How else would there be a bloodstain on the body? Do you have an explanation for that, Miss Steelman? No, I'll admit that the prosecution doesn't have an explanation for that. And while I do find the circumstances questionable, all other evidence clearly points to the defendant. Which spell would leave a trace of necromancy? If the victim wasn't killed with necromancy, why was there a trace of it on the body? I'm glad you asked. I'd like to present a spell that could have left a trace of necromancy on the body. Oh, that's easy. Mend wounds. Mend wounds? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that a healing spell? That's correct, Your Honor. Spells from the School of Necromancy can control the forces of death and life. Mend wounds is, in fact, a necromancy spell. Really now? I wasn't aware of this. Now, I'd like the court to consider the following. What would happen if Bellwether was wounded and someone attempted to heal her using mend wounds? All of her wounds would disappear from her body. I see.
Objection!
Do you honestly think I'm not incompetent, Mr. Cuthbert? Frankly, I'm a little insulted. What? The Inquisition is well aware of what happens when a mage attempts to save a victim using mend wounds. The healers that arrived at the scene already confirmed that the victim was long dead. None of them attempted to heal her. Well, what if someone tried to heal her and didn't report it? Please, none of the healers would have anything to gain by doing so. In fact, as a necromancer, the defendant could have easily carried out the described scenario. He could have cast mend wounds on the victim after murdering her to confound the investigation. At the end of the day, the burden of the proof is on you. But if you could just find out who healed the body, this case is yours. And whoever this healer is, Valentina definitely knows her. Your Honor, I will admit that I don't have any evidence to support my theory. However, I do believe that we can bring it to light. There may have been two people that witnessed someone cast magic on the body. Valentina and Valerie Lanus, the sisters who discovered the body. This is nonsense. We've already questioned those two witnesses extensively. If they had witnessed something like that, it would have come up in their testimony. If that's true, then you have nothing to lose by hearing their testimonies. Very well. If you're so confident, let's hear the witness's testimony. It seems the prosecution has no objections. However, if this line of questioning leads nowhere, I will see no reason to further prolong this trial. Do you understand, Mr. Cuthbert? Of course, Your Honor. Crap, it's that guy from before. Is he the necromancer's lawyer? She just got on the stand and she's already stressed out. This could work in your favor. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. My name? Witness, there's no need to be so nervous. We merely want to hear about what you saw on the day of the murder. Right. It's just that guy over there. You mean Mr. Cuthbert? Did this man harass you, witness? Wait a minute. Yeah. He, like, super harassed me. Bro. How shameful. I would expect a member of our justice system to behave more professionally. Bro, Celeste, you're supposed to help me out here. Oh, shut up. Anyways, please state your name and occupation for the court, Miss Ionis. Or, I can't tell if that's an L or an I. Just calm down. He can't prove anything. My name is Valentina Lane? No, wait. No, a capital L would be... Her last name would be capitalized. So if that was Lanus, that'd be a capital L right there. And there'd be no reason for them to use a lowercase L for a name. So it is Ionis. Detective reasoning coming in. We got this. My name is Valentina Ionis. Okay, we got it. I'm a member of the kitchen staff at the Wyvern Guard Imperial Academy. As I recall, you were one of the witnesses who discovered the body. Apparently, the defense finds your involvement suspect. And she's scared now. She's worried. Rest assured, Miss Ionis, in this courtroom, you will be protected from Mr. Cuthbert's harassment. Now, please testify to the court on what happened that day. Yeah. Bro, we did not harass her. We just asked her questions. She's lying to get out of this. I was walking with my sister in the West Wing when we noticed something in a nearby classroom. We looked over to see what it was. That's when we saw Miss Bellwether bleeding on the ground. My sister tried her best to help her, but the professor had already lost a lot of blood. When my sister did that, I used an emergency communication device to call for help, but it was too late. By the time her bleeding stopped, she'd already lost too much blood. If your theory is true, that means she just lied in her testimony. She's definitely holding something back. She definitely saw more than she's letting on. You just need to prove that somehow. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay, I believe all that. I'm gonna try to press this. She tried to help her. Miss Ionis, how exactly did your sister try to help Miss Bellwether? What? I slipped up. My sister used first aid to try to stop the bleeding. I see. Could you please add that detail to your testimony? Yeah, sure. Used first aid and applied pressure to her wound to stop the bleeding. So this is what I have to do. She used first aid and applied pressure to her wound. But what can I present? It's not gonna help me. Shows no signs of cuts. Signs of cuts or bruising. Oh, let's press this now. Your sister knows how to use a first aid kit. Yeah, it was covered in our training when we first started working. With all the nobles around, I guess the headmaster wanted to make sure we were prepared. Device? It's an artificery device that allows for long-range communication. Some of those devices are placed around the school for use during an emergency. I see. So who did you contact? Wasn't sure, honestly. I could hear a lot of people talking on the other end. That particular device broadcast to the headmaster's office in the City Watch barracks. I imagine that's why the headmaster was able to activate the lockdown so quickly. Let's see. It was too late. Time waiting stopped. She lost too much blood. See, that must have been a difficult experience for both of you. It was especially hard on my sister. I think she blames herself for not being able to save her. We didn't like Professor Bellwether, but we still didn't want her to die. She seems sincere when she says that. You don't see any dissonant thoughts through the eye either. Honestly, your testimony makes a lot of sense. It's hard to figure out which part she might be lying about. There has to be a contradiction here somewhere. Your theory is that Valentina saw someone use mend wounds on Bellwether. You should focus on the statements that describe how they both interacted with her. I see that it's this, because we added this, so this is what we have to press, but I don't know how to press it. This?
Objection!
Fuck, no it's not. Fuck. This helps me though. How do we tie it together? How do we tie it together? Do this?
Objection!
I can't just keep throwing things out. I have to think about this. I have to think about this rationally. Okay. Okay. This call reported she'd been fatally wounded. Okay, that's true. That's not gonna help us. It's not gonna help either. I think I already did this, and I did that. Let's see what she says. It's hard to figure out which part she might be lying about. There has to be a contradiction here somewhere. Your theory is that Valentina saw someone use mend wounds. You should focus on the statements that describe how they both interacted with her. Oh, wait, maybe this?
Objection!
No. Fuck. complete the autopsy?
Objection!
Because the autopsy shows no signs of cuts or bruising. And if there was no signs of cuts or... Yeah, I should have seen that way sooner. If there was no signs of cuts or bruising, then that's a contradiction. Why would they have been applying first aid to a body that didn't have cuts or bruising? Witness, what is the meaning of this? What? Why are you looking at me like that? Maybe I can elaborate, Miss Ionis. You weren't present in the gallery earlier, were you? No, I was waiting in the lobby. Lady Steelwind told me to wait there. Well, I suppose I should consider myself lucky. You see, Miss Ionis, one key element of the case is that the body didn't have any wounds on it. Yeah? So? So, please explain to the court, Miss Ionis. How did Valerie apply first aid when there shouldn't have been any wounds on the body? What? No, I screwed up. But I saw that wound on her. What happened? There's clearly something amiss here, but I'm afraid I don't fully understand the implications of this. Are you accusing the witness of committing perjury, Mr. Cuthbert? When someone lies, they stay as close to the truth as possible while changing minute details. In her thoughts, Valentina said that she was sure that she saw a wound on Bellwether. She also mentioned that Valerie was the one that tried to save the professor. She didn't try to save Bellwether with a first aid, because she'd have used magic instead. Her sister could be the mage that you're looking for. That's what I was thinking. The witness was lying, Your Honor, but not about everything. Valerie Lanus did try to save the victim's life by addressing her wounds, but she didn't use first aid. She used magic. No, he found us out?
Objection!
I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but your theory is completely flawed. How so, Miss Steelwind? Well, it's quite simple. We've already verified that neither of the sisters are mages. What? Wait, how can you be so sure? During the investigation, we had both the Ionis sisters attuned to a spell compendium. It's standard procedure for the Inquisition when interviewing witnesses. Then that means... That's correct. Neither of the Ionis sisters could attune to a compendium. Huh. That's right. The Inquisition checked us both. Neither of us are mages. Phew, that was close. Damn it. Were you wrong about Valerie being a mage then? No, one of the sisters might not be a mage, and if she was able to trick the Inquisition by being the one that they tested twice. If they tested the same sister that doesn't have magic twice, then they could have gotten around it. No, that can't be right. Thought said he found us out. That means that you were on the right track. Valerie has to be the mage you're looking for. Is it possible for a mage to hold a spell compendium and avoid attuning to it? No, it just needs to be on their person. When I was arrested, the Inquisition also made me attune to one of their spell compendiums. They were really careful to make sure that I did the attunement correctly. There's no way a mage could avoid attuning to a compendium with them watching you. Right, Commander White may be negligent sometimes, but even he isn't that careless. Fuck the playoffs, it's just a bunch of grown men attacking each other. Hell is Zesty, in my opinion. What the hell? Now, if you're done, I do believe that you've exhausted all your options. Wait! I'm still not done cross-examining this witness. What could you possibly hope to glean from her testimony? Valentina should be stressed out enough to see more of her thoughts. You can't exactly say that you're planning to read her mind. There's one key element of her testimony that the court is overlooking. I have a right as attorney to complete my cross-examination. Your Honor, the defense is clearly trying to buy time. I might be compelled to agree with you. However, I'll also admit that some elements of the witness's testimony are quite peculiar. I will allow the defense to perform one more cross-examination. That was close. I know that this is your last chance, Mr. Cuthbert. If you produce nothing substantial, I will pass my verdict. Of course, Your Honor. Alright, it's all or nothing. If you can't find anything by reading her mind, this whole case is finished. Witness, please give your testimony once more. Okay. Damn it, how long does he plan to keep me up here? Like I said, my sister and I saw Miss Bellwether bleeding on the ground. We rushed over to her. I was definitely surprised when I saw her like that. Now that you mention it, I don't know if I saw any wounds on her, but I definitely saw blood. I can't go back for my mom. I just need to play dumb. My sister tried to save her, but she didn't use any magic. Valerie, you're too hard-hearted for your own good. Neither of us is a mage. Both of us held that book the knights gave us. I was caught off guard when they asked us. They almost found us out. The commander was watching us the whole time. He can confirm it. It's a good thing that we're twins, or else that trick wouldn't have worked. What are we going to do? They have pretty hard proof that Valerie isn't a mage. Valerie is the mage we're looking for, I'm sure of it. I'm just not sure why they felt the need to lie to the Inquisition. More importantly, how did they trick the Inquisition? It's a good thing that they're twins. Did you pull some kind of trick to deceive the Inquisition while attuning, Miss Ionis? Of course not! We know that lying to Inquisition would get us in trouble. Why would either of us take a risk like that? Living as an unregistered mage is a serious crime. If Valerie was a mage, then you would have been charged with fraud right then and there. Yeah, but we already proved that neither of us are mages. I seems to differ. Think through this. This isn't like a normal cross-examination. Nearly all of her thoughts will be suspicious and contrary to her testimony. What you need to do is find the thought that gives you a thread to pull on. In this case, you need to find the thought that implies how the twins tricked the commander. Find the thought that holds that clue and interpret it to proceed. I was definitely surprised when I saw that. Can you go back with yours? Let's try interpreting this.
Objection!
Miss Ionis, your thoughts betray you. What? You found the thought. They must have done something. But what? It must have happened when Commander White was interrogating them. Orm was the one who collected their statements. Did he notice anything off about their behavior? From what he said, they had a few quirks, but nothing too suspicious. Quirks? He told me that they were running and spinning around him during questioning. What does that mean? I have no idea. Perhaps they were still on edge after finding their coworker murdered. Spinning. My thought also said it's a good thing that we're twins. How did the twins trick the Inquisition? This means that their so-called trick wouldn't have worked if they weren't twins. That means one sister held it. I was right. Valentina switched places with Valerie. Of course! They switched places! Times like this, you really wish you had a geese. What? Valentina attuned to the first spell compendium. Then she pretended to be Valerie to attune to the second one. Commander White couldn't tell the difference between them. Miss Ionis, there's something I want to confirm. During the investigation, both you and Valerie attuned to a spell compendium. Am I correct? Yeah, that night watched us do it. And how did he have you do this? Did you both attune to those compendiums at the same time? Or did you attune one after another? What? No, wait, does he know what we did? I fail to see how that makes any difference, Mr. Cuthbert. Yes, I agree. The spell compendiums would work regardless of what order they went in. You may not be aware of this, Your Honor, but Valentina and Valerie Ionis are identical twins, which means that their physical appearances are nearly identical to each other. If Commander White didn't have them attune at the same time, what would stop the twins from switching places with each other?
Objection!
This is clearly nothing but baseless conjecture. Orm wouldn't fail at such a basic task. Really, Prosecutor Steelwind? Do you find it hard to believe that Commander White would fail at a task like this? Wait a minute, this is crazy! We didn't trick the Inquisition. My sister and I are not mages. Then prove it, Miss Ionis. Bring in your sister and we'll have you attuned to 2 spell compendiums at the same time. No, wait! Order in the court. It's clear that we won't get anywhere unless we test the defense's theory. Bailiff, escort Valerie Ionis to the stand and bring 2 unattuned spell compendiums. Yes, got her on the ropes. Code geese. You mean a geos? They both had their hands on those compendiums for the last 10 minutes. There's no way they can fake it in front of this many people. Alright, it's the moment of truth. You can only hope that your theory is correct. No. Did he seriously? What is it, Prosecutor Steelman? What do you see? What I see is Commander White seeking new employment in the near future. It appears that the defense was correct. Valentina Ioannis isn't a mage, but Valerie Ioannis is. What's more, Valerie Ioannis' compendium contains the Mend Wound spell, which makes the defense's theory entirely plausible. Please, just allow me to explain. I should allow you to explain what exactly? You're an unregistered mage, and you and your sister have made fools out of all of us with your perjury. How would you know what it's like, Lady Steelwind? What? Did you think we didn't notice your name? You're not like us. You don't have to hide. Whatever. This whole situation has gotten out of hand. I didn't think hiding it would cause so much trouble. And I won't let someone go to prison because of me, even if he is a necromancer. Please let me testify about what I saw. I'll tell you what really happened that day. Very well. But understand that there will be repercussions for your actions, witness. Yes, I know. Bro's fired. Lamau. You really tried playing the victim card. My sister and I were walking in the hallway from the kitchen to the foyer. And I suddenly spotted the professor lying in a pool of blood in a nearby classroom. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her. I saw that she was bleeding, so I cast Mend Wounds on her to close her wounds. But it was too late. I closed the hole in her stomach, but she was already dead. There was a hole in her stomach. Your Honor, as you can clearly see from the witness's testimony, the trace of necromancy was left by the witness, not my client. What's more, it's clear that there was a physical wound on the body.
You what?
I see. Bruh, death by blood eagle, what? Well, his words trail off. He clearly doesn't want to pass a verdict when there's no clear culprit. But he has no choice. The case against Wallace is predicated on Bellwether being killed by necromancy. With Valerie's testimony, the prosecution doesn't have a shred of evidence implicating him. Very well, the court sees no reason to prolong this trial. With these new developments, the court has no choice but to find Wallace Nightgrave not... Oh, there's about to be an objection.
Objection!
I believe the court is ignoring one key detail of the witness's testimony. And what would that be, Miss Steelwind? Let's re-examine the witness's testimony. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her. I saw that she was bleeding, so I cast Mend Wounds on her to close her wounds. But it was too late. I closed the hole in her stomach, but she was already dead. The communication device that Valentina Ioannis used logs the time of day during each use. From this log, we know that Valentina used this device at 3:04 p.m. This was an hour after the time of death. Where are you going with this? Mr. Cuthbert, there was a witness who saw the victim before the body was found, Jan Hughes. He, along with another witness, spotted Bellwether walking in the hallways before the body was found. I was cleaning the halls. Bellwether knocked over a vase. There were shards of dirt everywhere. It was probably 20 to 30 minutes before the twins found the body. 20 to 30 minutes before the body was found. Do you see the discrepancy, Mr. Cuthbert? Oh, if he found it 20 to 30 minutes before the body was found by the twins, it wouldn't make sense. How would he have seen her before the body was found? But then it has to be illusion magic of some kind. Look it up, it's a sight to behold. No, I know what it is. I'm just saying no. Like, what the fuck? Wait, that can't be right. Bellwether died more than an hour before the body was found. So how did Jan see her after an hour? So how did Jan see her half an hour after her death? I wonder, Mr. Cuthbert, how could one make a dead body move and walk around? No, you can't mean... There was more than one piece of evidence that pointed to a necromancer committing the crime. The defendant murdered the victim and used necromancy to animate her corpse. Dead? Created within the Imperial Academy. Reprehensible. Ridiculous. She had a hole in her stomach when the twins found her. Jan Hughes would have noticed that. The enemy corpse stops the flow of blood, so she wouldn't have tracked blood anywhere. The defendant is also proficient with illusion magic. He could have easily used an illusion spell to hide the undead bellwether's wounds. But another party could have easily used illusion magic to disguise themselves as the victim. If that were true, how did they move the body to the classroom? A steel wind. If your theory is true, it would mean that the murder occurred elsewhere. Would the Inquisition happen to know where? Regrettably, we do not. And the prosecution's case against my client is still faulty. You can't convict my client without more evidence. I agree with Mr. Cuthbert. With these new developments, the court sees it fit to suspend the trial for the time being. We will give law enforcement time to investigate these unknowns. Court proceedings for this case will resume tomorrow morning. Court is adjourned. So I guess we have to go find more evidence. Death by 1,000 cuts. She bought time. Yeah, I know! We were just about to get him off! We were just about to get this guy off the hook. And she's like, no! He could still have done it! I'm like, damn. Hey, are you feeling okay? Body seemed moving around and after death. It clearly wasn't Bellwether, or at the very least she wasn't alive when this happened. So, what was it? Tyrion? There's illusion magic involved. There has to be. Which spell was it? Could have been illusory disguise. Tyrion! Ah, what? You've been quiet since the trial ended. What's stopping us from killing the one against us? Oh, you're making me worried. Sorry, I was just thinking about what Steelman said. Wait. Quiet. Oh, since the trial ended. You mean about her theory? It's a little creepy when you think about it. Do you really think someone turned the professor into an undead? I don't think so. The prosecution's case is hinged on one clear fact. That Wallace was the only high-level necromancer nearby. We have to assume that he's the only person capable of using that type of magic. But then how was she walking around? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It's a given that Wallace didn't touch the body. Well, it's easy. They used illusory magic on one of the knights, because the knights have pre-recorded messages of her voice. So her screaming out, "Be quiet," if that was one of the registered voices inside the thing, then all they would have to do is disguise the knight as her. So what he really saw was one of those knights walking down the hallway, and it wasn't her. So given that Wallace didn't touch the body, so we can discount the use of high-level necromancy. No matter what, someone used an illusion. But aren't there spells that can create freestanding illusions, not just disguises? I honestly don't know. We need to talk to someone who knows about that type of magic. Wait, didn't Eris say that she was studying illusion magic? She might be able to tell us if something like that is possible. Is that really a good idea? What do you mean? What if she's the one who created the illusion? What? You're detecting fear from her again. Celeste, are you scared of Eris? What? No! I saw it this morning too. You always get really scared when she's around. Oh, I thought I was doing a better job of hiding it. Sorry, it's not based on anything real, but for years I've been working as a mercenary. When you do that kind of work, you build up an instinct to sense danger. You kind of have to if you want to stay alive. Sorry, I never knew. Tyrion, I fought literal monsters and barely escaped with my life. When I'm near Eris, none of those creatures come even close. I get this feeling. It's like I'm in front of a predator that I couldn't even hope to beat. Every instinct I have tells me to run whenever she's close by. Really? But she doesn't seem that dangerous. I know. I think maybe I'm just anxious or something. I should know better than anyone not to judge people by their appearance. Sorry, forget I said anything. No, I think that's really good to see that she feels that way. If you think we should talk to her, then we should do that. I don't want to discount Celeste's instincts. She's always been reliable, and if Eris is making her scared, then that must mean something. But if Eris really is that dangerous, then that's all the more reason to talk to her. But aside from that, there was also something else that the prosecutor said. Mr. Cuthbert, there was a witness who saw the victim before the body was found, Jan Hughes. He, along with another witness. Yeah, this was the part that she didn't say who the other witness was. spy Bellwether walking the hallways before the body was found. She said, along with another witness. That means there was another witness that saw Bellwether walking around. Right. Jan probably isn't the most reliable witness. So talking to that other person might help us figure out what happened. But do you think Steelwind will tell us who that witness was? At this point, we won't lose anything by trying. In any case, it looks like you have your work cut out for you. So where should you start first? You like to save your progress. Yes, save. Tyrion, what are we doing here? I'm not sure. For some reason, you felt drawn to this place. Wait, is that Eris? Celeste points further into the cemetery. There you see Eris standing in front of a gravestone. She's placing flowers on it and appears to be chanting a short prayer. Well, we found her. We should probably talk to her later. It would be rude to disturb her now. As you're about to leave, Eris suddenly turns to face you. She's far away, but you can see her beckoning you over. Oh, hello there. Were you two looking for me? Sorry, we were looking for you, but we understand if you'd rather talk later. No, I was just finishing up here. Did you have something you wanted to talk to me about? Well, we wanted to ask you some questions about the case. Oh? Let's examine this. It's a grave for an individual that you don't know. It'd be best to leave it undisturbed. It's the grave that Eris was at earlier. The name on the stone says Emily Grant. Her lifetime appears to be awfully short. So they both knew Emily. She must have only been 12 years old when she died. Well, that's sad. I knew he said Emily, but I guess Emily might have been like a family friend or something.
Repario Arcanum.
Okay, no, nothing. The trial. That was my first time watching a court trial. You were truly remarkable. Thank you. Were you in the gallery? I've always enjoyed watching physical battles in the theater, but I see now that battles of wits can be just as entertaining to watch. Entertaining? Yeah, I know what you mean. You see the odds are stacked against him, but then he suddenly pulls out this crazy deduction and steers the trial in his favor. I never really thought of it like that. Well, I'm sure it's far more entertaining to be the one making the deductions. I'm not really sure what you mean. I practice law so that I can help those persecuted by the justice system. I don't really do it to entertain myself. But is that really true? Do you find the experience even the least bit entertaining to you? Yo, something's... Y'all saw that, right? It's definitely her causing the illusions and like the weird glitches that we've been seeing. She put her hand up to her face and everything. That was crazy. You find the experience even the least bit entertaining, Tyrion? I wouldn't really put it that way. You're far too modest. You save people from the clutches of death. To your clients, you might as well be a knight in shining armor. Earlier, you said that you were studying illusion magic. I am. Did you want to ask me about the prosecution's theory? Yes, actually. How did you know? It was easy to guess after seeing you in the courthouse. Anyways, disguising an undead with an illusion is definitely possible. As Lady Steelwind said, illusory disguise would be the best spell to use for that. What if someone created a freestanding illusion? Freestanding illusion? Yeah, we know that Wallace didn't animate and disguise the professor's corpse. So, what if the illusion wasn't disguising anything? Maybe someone created a freestanding illusion of Belle while they're walking around? Or something like that, one would probably use Major Illusion. Major Illusion has been added to illusion. None. Spell. Creates a three-dimensional illusion. The illusion can take the form of any object or creature that can be contained in a 10-foot cube. While concentrating, the caster can animate and move image to a different location within range. An illusion is purely visual and can't be physically touched. See? And she purposefully told us that because she's trying to throw us off the trail. Because in Jan Hughes' testimony, it says that she knocked into a vase and knocked it over. So when we bring up the major illusion in the case, the prosecution, aka Area Steelwind, is going to object us and say, well, the thing says that it has to, the major illusion isn't a spell that can be touched, so it wouldn't have been able to knock over the vase. And then we prove that it was one of the knights, because the knights can actually physically move around and touch things. So the illusory disguise wasn't on a human being, but on a knight. What is it? I don't think major illusion is what we're looking for. Oh, okay, or maybe we'll find it out right here. Do you remember what Jan said? I was cleaning a mess in the hallways. Bellwether knocked over a vase, and there was shards and dirt everywhere. If the bellwether that Jan saw was a major illusion, then she couldn't have knocked over that vase. Illusions created by that spell don't have any mass. I see. How perceptive of you. Aren't there any other illusion spells that do have mass? No. Illusions can only recreate illusions can only recreate visual and auditory sensations, but there isn't a single illusion spell that someone can touch. So that means that someone disguised something to make it look like Bellwether. A look of suspicion, Celeste. Sorry, I wasn't... Calm down. I'm only joking. I don't blame you for considering every possibility. In fact, I'm flattered you'd think I'm capable of pulling off such an elaborate ruse. Anyways, this does tell us one important thing. What's that? The bellwether that Jan saw had a physical mass to it. It wasn't a freestanding illusion. It was someone or something disguised as Bellwether. Good statement. 30 minutes before the Ionis twins found the body, Bellwether walked past Jan in the West Wing hallway. He was in her path, so she shoved him out of her way. After that, she knocked over a vase and shattered it. Even though Jan didn't say anything to her, she yelled at him to be quiet. After this interaction, she walked into the lecture hall to be. The Bellwether, which would also make sense if one of those knights stabbed into her and could kill her. The Bellwether witnessed by Jan Hughes, especially if it was given a command to stab. The Bellwether witnessed by Jan Hughes must have been disguised with an illusion. In addition to that, whoever he saw that day was physically there. See? And it would make even more sense, because if everyone was locked in places, then, oh, it couldn't have been them, it couldn't have been them. But these knights roam around all the time, and it could have been any of these knights. Gravestone. It's quite a shame, isn't it? Nurse looks pensively at the gravestone. The name on the stone says Emily Grant, and her lifetime appears to be awfully short. She must have only been 12 years old when she died. Sorry for interrupting you. Was she someone you knew? Not personally. I'm actually here on Wallace's behalf. Wallace knew her. Wallace joined the academy as part of a program run by Headmaster Redmond. At the time, the headmaster was reaching out to mages among the common folk. He had started a program to admit these mages to the academy without having to pay tuition. Both Emily and Wallace were among those mages. Oh shit. So this happened when they were both 12. Damn. Wow, that must have been an amazing opportunity for them. The truth is, neither of them actually cared about learning magic. The real problem was that Emily had a terminal illness. She and Wallace were poor orphans, and they obviously didn't have the resources to treat it. But if they enrolled in the academy would be obligated to give her medical treatment. The Imperial Academy teaches the best mages in the kingdom. They thought that curing her illness would be an easy task for the Academy's healers, but they were mistaken, I'm afraid. I'm sure you know this by now, but healing spells can only treat wounds, they can't cure illnesses. Emily's condition only got worse over the years, and eventually she succumbed to her illness. Wallace was furious. He didn't understand why the kingdom was outlawing magic that could save lives, and that's why he decided to learn it himself. Yes, the headmaster was inspired by Wallace's resolve. He gave him access to the Academy's forbidden tomes of necromancy, and Wallace taught himself the spells that he knows today. So that's why. It was supposed to stay a secret between him and the headmaster, but I'm sure you know how that turned out. Yeah, you can tell she's crazy.
Repario Arcanum.
I can't tell you everything you need to get through this case. What would be the fun in that? Okay. Let's just go through everything. So she's just not going to give me anything else? Yeah, she's just not gonna give us anything. Yeah, there's something creepy about this chick. Something very off. Very wrong. Just to try to detect magic. We can't. Oh, yes we can.
Repario Arcanum.
There's nothing. blah 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 blah. We already read all that. Blah blah blah. I just wanna make sure that it's just the same information, which it is. The investigation. There's still a lot we don't know. Yeah, we know that Wallace didn't kill her, but did the true killer really murder her there? Right, we'll need to get there to find out more. Should we go next? The prosecution believes that Wallace killed Bella in the library. We didn't really investigate that room the first time around. We might be able to find some new leads there. We can detect magic here. Oh, it's you, Mr. Cuthbert. Steelwind, what are you doing here? After what happened at the trial yesterday, I decided it would be best to start my investigation here. Right, Wallace was in the library for the entire morning. I bet you anything one of the knights is gonna have magic on it. Or illusory magic on it, to be precise. Wait. What was that? After what happened on the train, Wallace was in the library for the entire morning, so it makes sense that she started her search here. Actually, since I have you here, have you seen Eris Alma Mater anywhere? It's my understanding that you're both acquainted with each other. Eris, what do you want with her? It's not for anything serious, mind you. It's just that Oath of a Commander lost her spell compendium. Now we need her to produce another one for our records. If you see her, please let her know that we'd like to speak to her. We saw her earlier in the cemetery nearby, but I have no idea where she is now. Once again, I have to compensate for that idiot's mistakes. Anyways, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. Very well, I suppose I still need to honor our deal from earlier. Any leads? Have you had any luck finding the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, I haven't. From the witnesses' testimonies, we have a rough idea of the route Bella took. But none of the rooms we've checked have any sign of a struggle. Why are you so sure that a struggle happened? I'm mainly basing that off of the Aina sisters' testimonies. Valerie in particular noticed that the bleeding came from a wound in her stomach. Regrettably, the body's wounds were mended, so we can't determine what kind of weapon the murderer used. During the trial, you mentioned that another witness saw Belle while they were walking around yesterday. Would you be willing to tell us who that person is? I'm sorry, but I can't tell you that. You're caught a little off guard. You've been pretty transparent with your investigation so far. What's changed? I have no obligation to justify myself to you, nor do I have an obligation to help the opposition. Didn't we have a deal? Hiding information doesn't exactly seem fair to us. I believe I've given you plenty of information already. So regardless of what I said before, the answer is still no. Our family is dangerous. This is probably why she's afraid of Eris. The Alma Mater family. The Alma Mater family is probably a dangerous family. That's probably why she doesn't want to share. But it's definitely a female. Her family. I have Horus catches a straight thought from her. Her family is dangerous. What does that mean? Is there something about this witness's family that you're worried about? Fear. No. This could be a feint. I'm sorry, but you'll have to try harder than that if you want to bluff me. She referred to the witness as her. Furthermore, she said that her family is dangerous. Why would she go to such lengths to hide the witness's identity? In any case, it looks like she's not willing to share more at the moment. Maybe you should try looking somewhere else.
Reparium Arcanum.
Nothing? But they're also not here, which is something. Isn't traveling through the border... Ooh, there's new information here because she wasn't here last time. Isn't traveling through the border heavily restricted? Don't worry, I won't report you. I can't exactly blame you for wanting to leave. The library is full of books for educational purposes. It's too bad they don't have any. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see if Area Steelwind has any information. Wait. Oh, this is new. This is new information. The library is full of books for educational... Last time, Celeste didn't speak with us about it. It just said it was for educational purposes. It's too bad they don't have any fictional books. Are you looking for a novel to read? Yeah, I was hoping they'd have some mystery novels I could read. You like mystery novels? Of course. Why do you think I like this job so much? I've never really been a fan of the mystery genre. What? But your whole career is about solving mysteries. Exactly. It's exhausting. When I read a novel, I just want to read about simple fantasy stories and classic heroes. I guess that makes sense. What about you, Steelwind? I don't really have time for such things. There are tables for students to sit at while they study. I don't think think I could handle studying here day after day. Okay, that's the same. So, holy text from the Church of Bahamut. I read some of these with Eris earlier. I've been meaning to ask, did you guys worship dragons in Wyvern Guard? Do you guys worship dragons? I've never really been the religious type, but I've seen some devout worshippers in the capital. It's the most prominent religion here. The skilled Lord Rathalion is said to be the source of all arcane magic. It's no wonder that he's such a large part of our culture. Due to constant misuse. Is that why I can't make the constructs say things? Constructs speak using Professor Bellwether's voice. Fortunately, that was an open invitation to many of the students. A lot of them order the constructs to speak several obscenities using her voice. But why is Headmaster Redmond the only person allowed to set the voice lines? There are also rumors that several faculty members partook in these pranks. I can't blame them for wanting to let off some steam. That explains why it was only the headmaster and not staff. And it also makes sense since a lot of people do not like her. Will I gain anything about this? Okay, so that's just not going to give me any information. There's new places now. Let's try moving back to the cemetery, see if we can find her again. No, I guess it's up to her to do that. Oh, why is this important though, and why was it brought up? You spend some time wandering through the academy when you overhear a conversation from a nearby room. From what I understand, Miss Steelman has already moved the investigation elsewhere. How long must I wait before I can retrieve my things? Sorry, old-timer. Orders are orders. Nothing comes in or out till this case is over and done with. Commander White, and the headmaster too? Oh, hello, Mr. Cuthbert. Hey, kid. In any case, there are other matters that I must attend to. Please inform me when I can reclaim my things. Sure. Looks like Commander White is standing guard in front of this locker room. And it doesn't look like he's conducting any sort of investigation. Is he here on Steelman's orders? He might be able to tell you who the secret witness is. There are several lockers in this room. It would be impossible to search through them all. You should speak with Commander White before trying to search through them. What was the headmaster talking to you about? Supposedly he has some items stored in one of the faculty lockers. The problem is, Steelman said no one gets in or out of this room. Except for her and you two, apparently. She won't even let the other knights in here. Really? Is that normal? Nope, but things rarely are when she's calling the shots. How would she give you access to the crime scene if she wasn't even letting the knights in? Steelman's order is so clear. With the exception of you and Celeste McCoy, Prosecutor Steelman isn't allowing anyone inside key areas of the Academy. She isn't even allowing the Knights of the Inquisition within these areas. She appears to be conducting the investigation single-handedly. I don't know what her deal is, but she's been acting strange lately. She's been real paranoid, that girl. Frankly, I can't tell what's going through her head. Okay, fine. So was paranoid. You mentioned that the prosecutor has been paranoid lately. Do you think it has something to do with this case? Nah, it started way before that. Lately, she's been using the Inquisition to investigate a lot of non-magical homicides. What? Wouldn't it be easier to work with the relevant law enforcement for that? I don't know why, but she's convinced that these cases have magic involved. We scanned each and every one of those crime scenes. Nothing turned up. I gotta say though, if it weren't for the scans, I might actually agree with her. Why do you say that? Those homicides, I haven't ever seen anything like them. Probably some of the most screwed up cases I've ever handled. In one of those cases, we had ourselves a disgruntled spouse. She found out that her man was going around with a barkeep. You know what the spouse does? She stalks the poor woman. She starts leaving threatening notes all around where she worked. The barkeep told the city watch all about what was happening, but no matter how much they staked out the tavern, they could never catch the perp. Then one day the barkeep arrived home, but little did she know the spouse was waiting there for her. The poor lady never had a chance. Then, to tie the whole thing together, the spouse waits for her husband to get home. She cooks him a big roast using the barkeep's remains. Damn. Well, I didn't want to know that. That's crazy. Wow. That story is pretty... I know. Steelman thinks someone's developed a new type of magic that can control people's minds, and these homicides are some kind of sick test run. Magic that can control people's minds. But wouldn't Mage Blight make more sense? Mage Blight? When a mage overuses their magic, it can have pretty bad consequences on their mind. They temporarily lose grip of reality and begin seeing things that aren't there. When a mage becomes like that, it almost never ends well. They enter a frenzy and begin firing spells randomly, which only makes it worse. I've seen my fair share of Mage Blight cases, and this isn't like that. Not all of the perps were mages, and the ones that were didn't even use their magic. One thing was that each of the perps almost seemed to wake up after we arrested them. All of them said things like, it wasn't me, or I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice, what could that mean? I doubt it means anything. Sometimes people can't face the things they've done. It's easier to say that you had no control than to take responsibility. Fine. I wonder if you can mislead the commander into revealing who the secret witness is. During the trial, Miss Steelman mentioned that someone other than Jane Hughes saw Belle while they're walking around. Have you seen them around lately? We wanted to speak with them. Ha! Nice try, kid. Well, it was worth a shot. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. I don't think anyone other than Steelman knows who this witness is. I sure as hell don't. What? She's even hiding it from the Inquisition commander. Why is she being so secretive? It looks like the commander doesn't know who the secret witness is either. This isn't getting us anywhere. Steelman's behavior is strange, though. Perhaps you could try analyzing her behavior. If you do that, you might be able to find a way to convince her to help you. Okay, Steelman's behavior has been strange this time around. She's hiding elements of the case, even from the commander. Anyone can tell that she doesn't have much faith in him. I'm standing right here. But this is the first time I've seen her hide key details of a case from him. What is motivating Steelman to keep secrets? There has to be a reason why she's being so secretive. She probably feels threatened. Paranoia. Her actions must be driven by paranoia. She's been hoarding information about the case. There's only one reason why she wouldn't utilize the Inquisition like she usually does. It's because she doesn't trust them. I hate to say it, but that doesn't really surprise me. She's always been standoffish with us. But there is one exception. Who is Steelman trusted for this case? There are individuals who she's trusted more than the Inquisition during this case. Us. Tyrion and Celeste. She lets us investigate the crime scenes without any restrictions. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Does she trust us that much? I don't think personal trust is the reason. Why does Steelman trust us this time? We don't usually interact with her. She's worked with the Inquisition on plenty of cases that we weren't even involved in. Steelman is an employee of the nobility. Tyrion isn't a member of the Inquisition? Oh, Tyrion isn't capable of using magic. She's suspicious of people that can use magic. Oh, there's a key to using us. We don't answer anyone when we aren't subject to corruption. So why would that make Steelman trust us this time around? Isn't controlled by the nobility. Steelman doesn't know much about us, but she does know that we aren't prone to noble corruption. Right, you indicted a noble during the last case. Meanwhile, the Inquisition usually bends to the nobility's whims. Well, I can't argue with you there. What can you infer about the secret witness? Using my insight that they have some kind of nobility to them? Yo, how's it going? Using my insight, I could tell that she's worried about the witness's family. And if she's worried about corruption from the nobility, that can only mean one thing. The witness is a noble. The witness has to belong to a noble family. That's why she's wary of interference. But we're obviously not going to do anything corrupt. Why is she hiding the witness's identity from us? I recall seeing a thought through the eye. So regardless of what I said before, the answer is still no. The family is dangerous. I think she's worried about our safety. Yeah, I guess harassing a noble could put you in danger. But I'm the protege of the infamous Ruby Tamora. Yeah, it's not as if we aren't already on the nobility's bad side. I'm sure the Pierce family still has it out for us. This can only mean that the family we're dealing with is even more powerful than House Pierce. If the prosecutor is wary of them, that could even be as powerful as the they could even be as powerful as the steel winds. Wait, don't tell me you think we're dealing with one of the 4 pillars. 4 pillars? It's a name people use for the top 4 noble houses. These families stand at the top of the kingdom's aristocracy. If I recall correctly, the 4 pillars are House Frege, House Von Sanctus, House Sybil, and House Steelwind. Huh, I haven't seen anyone with any of these last names though. Steelwind is a part of one of them. Yeah, which makes it so much weirder that she's serving as a prosecutor. 4 pillar families. The 4 pillars refer to the 4 most powerful noble houses. These houses are House Steelwind, House Frege, House Von Sanctus, and House Sybil. What is it? Steelwind's weird behavior all started after she investigated this room. We were at the crime scene and she left to follow a lead. 1 hour later, she came back to the lecture hall and booted everyone out. Her behavior changed after investigating this room. That means that she found something here. That something must point to a family from the 4 pillars. Commander looks a bit anxious. You know, Steelwind's orders say I can't snoop around here. But you two, on the other hand, don't worry, just leave it to us. I have some school records that say which locker belongs to which student. You can use it to tell whose locker you're looking at. Oh, there's an arcane construct in the back here. It's probably here to aid the students. Anyways, I don't think it's relevant to our investigation. Perhaps you should make a small note of it anyways. Construct in the locker room. There appears to be an inactive arcane construct in the academy locker room. No, that's going to be very huge. I'm glad we took a note of that. You use the legend that the commander gave you. Look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. These 3. Miriam Frege. You open the locker with Miriam Frege's ID number. Inside you find a stack of worn out textbooks and notebooks. Wait a minute. These notebooks all have Wallace's name on them. Is Eris lying about her name then? You open the notebook and look through its pages. It appears to be research on the art of necromancy. These are Wallace's notebooks. Why are they in Miriam Frege's locker? Did Miriam steal his things? What's going on here? You and Celeste check the locker more thoroughly. Wait a minute. Tyrion, take a look at this. That's blood. Evidence in the locker. There's a stain of blood inside the locker with Miriam Frege's ID number. Evidence in the locker has vanity units. You use the legend that the commander gave you. Look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. Jaden Von Sanctus. You open Jaden Von Sanctus's locker. Inside you find several bottles of some kind of transparent lotion. There's nothing but lotion in here. Oh, I wonder why a student would need this much lotion. Take one of the bottles to inspect it more closely. Wait, Tyrion, don't touch those with your hands. It's some kind of sanitizing liquid. Yo, Levi, thank you for the subscription. Let's go. Yo, a year, that's crazy. Big dubs in here. I appreciate that though. That's massive. That's really. You know what else is? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Loot. No, I'm sorry. I keep saying that on TikTok. I keep saying that. I've got brain rot. I've got mega ultra brain rot. I need to stop. Nothing much. I've really been enjoying this game. We're almost. I'd say we're about 3/4 of the way through this game. Please feel free to tell me if the music's a bit loud. I cut it down, but I just want to make sure y'all are actually able to easily hear me. But yeah, just enjoying this game, having a great time playing this game right now. I'm addicted, honestly. I wanted to try switching through, but depending on how this case goes, I honestly might just continue playing into the next case. But yeah, this has been so fun. This game has been so fun. Think of like Phoenix Wright, but like with magic, with mages, and like, you know, it's like a very, very similar. The whole entire layout, everything is very, very similar. Heavily inspired by Phoenix Wright, but they've got magic. It's in a world of magic. It's some kind of sanitizing liquid. It's a little strange, but it doesn't seem to be related to the case. You use the legend that the commander gave you. You look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. Warren Sybil. You open Warren Sybil's locker. Inside you find some textbooks and a neatly stacked deck of tarot cards. Oh, it's like those cards that fortune tellers use. I wonder if the student studies divination magic. But anyways, I don't think this is related to the case. Use the legend that the commander gave you. Look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. Loving the smooth. Yeah. The music's really nice. The music's really nice. You know, I uploaded this to YouTube. Or I went to upload the part last night from YouTube, and 2 of the parts were muted because it had shown that apparently there was like a song playing. Like 2 segments of my stream were muted. But thankfully, when I went to appeal, I was able to appeal all of them because it wasn't actually the music that it was showing. The music in my stream wasn't actually the music that was wasn't actually the music that was in the game. There we go. You look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. Wallace Nightgrave. You open Wallace's locker. Inside you find a bottle of fragrant liquid and something that looks like a makeup kit. Huh, I didn't expect Wallace to use stuff like this. It does seem strange, but it's not your place to judge. Anyways, you should try looking through the other lockers. Use the legend that the commander gave you. You look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. That's all. We found a few things, but I can't really make sense of any of it. We should look at this from the prosecutor's perspective. Steelman found something in one of the lockers. Well, that was easy. Miriam Fragra's. Whoever that was, it made her extremely paranoid. This one. No matter how we look at it, we found some insanely suspicious things in Fraga's locker. Yeah, Wallace's stuff and blood. And Wallace's notebooks and even some blood. But that blood is certainly strange. It implies that something bloody was stored there. Do you think someone stole it? No, actually. I think it was Steelwind who took it. Oh, right. Aura mentioned that she investigated this room. She must have taken the bloody item as evidence. With that said, there's something else that's strange about Miriam Fragra's locker. It had a lot of Wallace's possessions. It's possible that she really did steal these items from him. But it's more likely that this locker isn't actually hers. Remember what Wallace told us before. Sometimes the other students would steal the ID number off of my locker. Then they switch it with the number of another locker. I thought it was funny whenever the student who owned that locker got angry with me. So someone switched the nameplates. This means that this isn't Miriam Fragra's lockers. This means that this isn't Miriam Fragra's locker. It's Wallace's. That would mean that the bloody object came from Wallace's locker. And that explains why when we checked Wallace's locker, it had feminine products in there, because it wasn't his. It appears so. Evidence in the locker type clue. There's a stain of blood inside the locker with Miriam Fragra's ID number. This locker actually belongs to Wallace Nightgrave. Someone must have switched the ID numbers with Miriam's locker. If that's true, why didn't Steelman present the bloody item during the trial? I proved that Bellwether was wounded before Valerie healed her. Wouldn't that have been the perfect time to present what she found? There's a bloody item found in the defendant's locker, after all. She could have easily proved that the nameplates were switched too. Right, that is weird. There's something more to this that you aren't seeing. But what? I think we'll just have to ask Steelman ourselves. Oh, it's not gonna let me use detect magic. Okay. That's fine, that's fine. Let's get back to the library then and speak with her. Oh, you're back. We've uncovered a few things during our investigation. Miss Steelwind, are you acquainted with a student named Miriam Fragra? I underestimated him. I said it before, Mr. Cuthbert. I won't fall for such an obvious bluff. It's not a bluff, Miss Steelwind, and I'll prove it using the evidence we've gathered. Steelwind's psychological profile is complete. Time to have an argument. Steelwind is paranoid, and for whatever reason, it's due to the involvement of Miriam Fragra. If you could convince her to reveal why she's being so secretive, she might give you more information. You've been behaving strangely, Steelwind. Even the Knights of the Inquisition have noticed. Please just tell me, why are you being so paranoid? I'm not sure what you're trying to imply, Mr. Cuthbert. Nothing about my behavior has changed. I've approached this case objectively, just like I have with every other case. Steelwind is extremely logical and won't accept arguments that aren't supported by evidence. However, she has become secretive lately, and her actions seem to stem from paranoia. She's uneasy about case elements that relate to Miriam Fragra. She's very inclined to To hide Freyga's involvement in the court at all costs. Nothing about my behavior has changed. That's not entirely true. You've ordered the knights to stay away from the crime scene, and you've even taken it upon yourself to conduct the investigation yourself. That is not normal behavior for a prosecutor. I took those actions because the Inquisition is incompetent. How could I possibly trust them with anything? The knights are incompetent, but even you can see the value of delegation. During Celeste's case, you still delegated tasks to the Inquisition, and you could have easily investigated the McCoy Tavern yourself. The Academy is huge. You wouldn't conduct your investigation this way unless you had a good reason. And why don't you enlighten me? Why would I act in such a way? What would cause me to behave so strangely? That one's easy. This is the reason why you've been acting so strangely, Steele. What kind of weird person do you think I am? Fuck. Maybe that would hardly cause me to change my behavior. Wasn't that? It has to be this. You know that the Inquisition is corrupt and will bend to the nobility. So what would happen if a powerful noble were publicly involved in this case? With that noble's influence, they'd probably order the Inquisition to conceal their involvement. A high-profile noble is involved in this case, Steelwind, and I believe that noble is Miriam Freyga. Again with this, do you think you can bluff me by throwing out the names of random nobles? Not every noble is a malevolent criminal like Garrett Pierce. I've said it before and I'll say it again. My investigation doesn't involve the Freygas. Nothing about the case has anything to do with House Freyga. And that's where it's wrong. And how do you explain this, Steelwind? The commander told us that you were following a lead in the locker room yesterday. We investigated the lockers of students from the Four-Pillar families, and we found stains of blood in the locker with Miriam Freyga's ID number, and it was presumably left by a bloody object. The bloody object was taken by someone, and we heard that you became extremely paranoid after you found something in the locker room. If I had to guess, I'd say that you took the bloody object as evidence. And what evidence do you have to support these outrageous claims? What? The only thing you have is evidence of a bloodstain. There's a myriad of explanations for that. Everything else you mentioned is pure speculation. You can't prove that piece of evidence exists. I could have found any number of things in that room, or possibly nothing at all. You're hiding evidence, Miss Steelman. You don't see how wrong that is. No, that's not going to work. She's illogical. You don't present what you found in the court. I'll have no choice but to pull the owner of that locker into the stand. This could work. Let's not be coy, Miss Steelman. Anyone can tell that the bloodstain is the most notable thing in that room. She's very inclined to hide her involvement in the court, so this threat could work. You found an object in the locker with Miriam Freyga's nameplate on it. And if you don't present what you found to the court, I'll have no choice but to pull the owner of that locker onto the stand. That's ridiculous. We both know that the locker in question belongs to Wallace Nightgrave. Can you unequivocally prove that, Miss Steelwind? Because the way I see it, there's a lot of room for doubt there. Enough doubt for me to pull Miss Freyga onto the witness stand. But if I had more context, maybe I wouldn't have to resort to that. Well played, Mr. Cuthbert. I suppose I don't have a choice, do I? You successfully persuaded Arya Steelwind. Alright, let's get to the bottom of this. Just so we're clear, I wasn't acting to protect the nobility, but I'll admit that Miriam Freyga was the other witness that saw Bellwether that day. I see. I had some suspicions, but there's also another matter. Steelwind looks uneasy. When I was investigating the body, I found this. Evidence of academic dishonesty. Tightly packed folder containing several documents. The documents contain evidence detailing multiple instances of plagiarism, fraud, bribery of school officials, and various other offenses committed by Miriam Frege. Interesting. What the? It looks like Miriam's been cheating at school. Why would Bellwether have something like this? From the way it's arranged, I think it may have been blackmail. Miriam Frege is considered a prodigy in the practice of conjuration magic. She's won a litany of awards, and she will most definitely graduate with honors. If these files were to reach the public, it would absolutely ruin her reputation. Do you think that the professor was trying to threaten her? It appears so. When I discovered this, several elements of the case were still unknown. I decided to look through her belongings. I mistakenly looked through the locker with her ID. I found this in that locker. Bloody rapier. Type clue, a rapier covered in blood. It was found in Wallace Nightgrave's locker. Apparently it's a valuable family heirloom to House Frege. It was reported stolen by Miriam Frege weeks before the murder. Interesting. It's very likely that this is the murder weapon. This rapier is a valuable family heirloom for House Frege. Oh yeah, I remember now that bitch, that student that was a mega bitch. When we first walked in, she was talking about how she was trying to find her rapier. She was trying to find her item. I remember that now. I do remember that. This rapier is a valuable family heirloom for House Frege. So that's who that was. Okay. It was when we were trying to. It was when we first got to the. It was when we first got to the crime scene that we saw her because we were trying to investigate the room. Okay. This rapier is a valuable family heirloom for House Frege. And a few weeks ago, Miriam reported that the rapier was stolen from her home. From her room. Right, room. Yep. And then it was found in Wallace's locker. Not that I'm complaining, but why didn't you present this in court? To be honest, I'd like to avoid involving House Frege by any means necessary. I knew it. You're just protecting her, aren't you, Miss McCoy? Do you recall how Wyvern Guard's justice system works? To acquit a defendant, you need to unequivocally prove that they didn't commit the crime. To do that, they either need a solid alibi, or we need to prove that someone else committed the crime. What do you suppose will happen if you bring Miriam Frege onto the stand? House Frege won't allow one of its members to be indicted in a court of law. They'll plant and forge evidence to implicate your defendant. They'll use the Inquisition to do so. So that's why you've been keeping them away from the investigation. Can't you do anything? The Steelwinds are powerful too, aren't they? I don't have the support of my house. Right now, I'm just a prosecutor, nothing more. Steelwind, you know that this isn't fair to us. For us. Just do nothing? Do nothing and let us win. Oh, just do nothing. Do nothing and let us win. Celeste! If we can't go after Miriam, then you can at least help us save Wallace. I'm not going to do that. Why? What if Miriam Frege is the real killer? Her sword is the murder weapon, and Bellwether was trying to blackmail her. I seem to recall another case where an innocent person's sword was used to frame them. That's... As a prosecutor, it is not my place to decide who's guilty and who's not. I won't engage in corruption, even if it's counter-corruption from another noble house. I'm sorry. Do you know where Miriam is right now? Didn't you hear what I just said? You can't let her think that there's even the slightest possibility you indict her. She'll bring the entire wrath of House Frege down on you. Regardless, I can't do anything for Wallace unless I know everything that happened. Frege has the last piece I need to put everything together. Well, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? Her dormitory is room 107. I imagine that she'll be there, considering that classes are suspended. Thank you, Steelwind. If I don't tell you, I'm sure you'll probably just find out using some other means. But please, Mr. Cuthbert, be careful. You follow Miss Steelwind's directions and find Miriam Frege's dorm. The door leading inside seems a lot more ornately decorated than the other dorms. You go to knock on the door, but you don't realize that it's only partially closed. As your fist comes into contact with the wood, you accidentally push the door wide open. Disgruntled student. Excuse me, how dare you barge into my room? Since accepting respect. Sorry, I meant to knock, but... Construct, remove these hoodlums from my room. Acknowledged. In the corner of the room, an arcane construct stands up and starts making its way toward you. Before you can protest, it raises its fist to hit you. You only have enough time to raise your arms and brace yourself for the impact. You close your eyes and wait for the blow, but instead you hear the clang of steel against steel. Confused, you open your eyes and see Celeste standing between you and the construct. Her sword is drawn, she's using it to block the construct's fist. Upon taking a closer look at Celeste, the student stares curiously at her. Construct, stand down. Acknowledged. I'm terribly sorry for that. I wasn't aware that this was your servant. Celeste looks angry but puts away her sword without a word. I haven't noticed you around campus. Are you a new student? If she has a personal attendant, she must be important. What? You see an opportunity. Yes, my master just enrolled here recently. What? Celeste gives you a puzzled look, but you make a silent gesture back. After a moment, she seems to realize what you're doing. Yes, I just started here. I take it you're Miriam Frege. Yes, I'm honored that you recognize me. Miriam Frege, recreation student. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss. Celeste. Celeste. She catches herself and pauses for an awkward moment. Steel Wind. That was not Steel Wind. You can't believe her. There's no way she's going to believe. Steel Wind? It's a pleasure to meet another member of such an esteemed house. She must be from a branch family. Maybe I can use her. She's actually buying this? Celeste, quote-unquote, Steel Wind. I just moved in, and I thought that I should introduce myself, seeing as you're a top student in the field of conjuration. Conjuration. Yes. Well, there's no backing out now. To dress her, it probably contains Miriam's clothes. It would probably be a bad idea to take a closer look with Miriam here. It's a table for guests, but it doesn't look like it's seen much use until now. It's an extravagant bed. It looks like Miriam lives pretty well here. Anything else?
Imperio Arcanum.
Of course not. I wasn't expecting that. Questions. Ms. Frege, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions about... Excuse me, I don't believe anyone has permitted you to speak. Fuck you. Oh, here we go. Celeste is still smiling. We can faintly hear her grinding her teeth together. So, we heard about what happened to Professor Bellwether. I can't believe it. Yes, it's quite tragic what happened to her. She has always been an acquaintance of House Frege. She appears to be more receptive to Celeste. It might be better to let her take the lead on the questioning. I heard that you saw her on the day of the murder. Can you tell us more about what happened? Oh, you heard about that from your relative, did you? If you don't mind me asking, why are you so interested? She's not like Arya, is she? Oh, you know, I'm just curious is all. You know how uneventful life can be sometimes. Being a noble and all. Alright, tone it down. Oh, is that all? I was worried you were going down the same path as that poor confused Arya. What does she mean by that? What, because she became a prosecutor? I'm in the middle of a study break anyways. I suppose I have some time to sate your curiosity. Construct, please prepare us some tea. Use that lotus tea we imported from the Eastern Kingdoms. She could be useful if I can win her favorite. Not the lotus tea. She loves lotus tea. Acknowledged. Lotus tea? You have lotus juice? I feel like you're slowly losing control of the situation. Oh shit. Gotta say she's my fave so far. Her? Like, she's the cute. Like, I get it. But, like, at the same time, she's rude. I heard that you saw the professor on the day of the murder. Where did this happen? I was in the hallways when I saw her coming out of the headmaster's office. She was heading towards the library. Do you remember what time this happened? No, I'm not really sure, honestly. It's a little embarrassing, but I have a bad habit of getting too absorbed in my work. Sometimes I'll let entire hours pass by without noticing. Do you have a rough idea, at least? I think it was in the morning. She thinks it was in the morning? But anyways, did anything seem off about her? No, it was a short encounter. Huh. Worry. Oh. worried because she had the papers, she had the documents, that's why she lied. The truth is that it probably was a relatively decent encounter, and that was when she blackmailed her, but she lied because she doesn't want her knowing that. I merely greeted her and she responded in kind, or at least that's what should have happened. I thought just now. What does it mean? You slowly glance at Celeste and catch her attention. In small motions, you shake your head to indicate that Miriam is holding something back. Were you and the professor really on good terms? I heard she was pretty mean towards the other students. Towards the riffraff maybe, but not to students like us. She was a great ally to House Frege, or at least she used to be. And that's why we were planning on appointing her as the new headmaster. Wait, what did you just say? Did you just say that your family was going to appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster? Oh, I'm surprised you didn't know. House Frege holds several seats on the Academy's board. We were making plans to have her replace that lout, Redmond. They were going to sack the headmaster? Yep, I saw something like that being the motive for the murder. Did Headmaster Redmond know about this? Oh, of course not. That was part of a large-scale plan. Along with Redmond, we were also going to replace all the staff members with the arcane constructs. Yeah, we did know about that, and so did Jan. We had to keep everything under wraps or else the help would have left prematurely. And where would that leave us? But Jan supposedly overheard Bellwether talking about the constructs. Did Bellwether prematurely reveal the plan, or was Jan lying about how he found out? But alas, with Bellwether gone, we'll have to delay our plans. Bellwether's plan, type clue. House Frege was planning to fire Headmaster Theodore Redmond and replace him with Catherine Bellwether. They were also planning to fire all the Academy staff. Replace him with their arcane construct. This was supposed to be kept a secret. But according to Jan, Bellwether revealed his plan to the headmaster during a meeting a few weeks ago. Frege's rapier. So, we heard that Arya took your rapier as evidence for the case. Can you believe her? She still won't give it back to me. My father will have my head if I can't get it back soon. How did it even become a part of the investigation anyways? I don't know. Arya won't tell me anything. I swear, if that necromancer was the one who stole it, I'll execute him myself. So someone did steal it from you? Yes, from right out of my room. When did this happen? About a few weeks ago. I noticed when I came back from one of my classes. Someone removed the rapier from its display case in my room. How'd they get in your room in the first place? Do you think someone used magic to teleport past the door? Please, I'm a master of conjuration magic. If someone attempted that, my enchantments would have shunted them out. This means the thief came through one of the doors or windows. I bet it was that necromancer. I'm sure a street child like him just knows how to pick a lock. Celeste was pissed about that. Very fair, though. Those chicks rude as balls. Grades. I've heard that you're one of the Academy's top students. Your grades must be amazing. Of course, as an inheritor of House Frege, my grades are impeccable. Feels good to have my greatness recognized, even though she cheated. That's strange you don't see anything contradictory through the eye this time. Yeah, that is very strange. Wait. She was blackmailing her about cheating, but was Bellwether lying about her cheating? That's the only reason she'd be proud of her grades. You wouldn't be proud if... I mean, maybe she's just that conceited that she's proud even though she cheated and has good grades, but I don't know. Because normally people would feel contradictory. You'd imagine that she'd be concerned about the fact that her grades are like she'd be putting on a happy face, but her thought process would be along the lines of, you know, her having cheated. Very very classist. I do not like this chick at all. Bellwether was the same, so I'm glad she got murdered. I'm glad she was the victim, because honestly, she was just as bad as this chick is. All the nobility in this game are horrible. That's the whole thing about this game is that it's probably all 5 cases are probably gonna have to deal with some sort of nobility to some degree. In normal life, agreed, but in game world, not gonna lie, kind of with it. Strange you didn't see anything contradictory to the eye this time. Now, if you haven't seen Miss Tamora yet, but Miss Tamora is a baddie, and I've been talking about it every time I play for all 3 of these parts. Well, I haven't seen her in this part yet, but you'll understand if we see her during the remainder of this. She was in the very beginning of the case that we did yesterday, but we might not see her again before the end of the stream. But we'll see. But I'll definitely let you know when she pops up, if she does pop up. Oh, what kind of magic do you study here? You must be joking. I study magic from the School of Conjuration, just like most members of my house. School of Conjuration. That's the type of magic that specializes in spatial manipulation and teleportation, right? Yes, I consider myself quite the expert in that field. Why? The Crown Prince himself has asked for my assistance in a research study. It's nice to work with someone of my caliber. Again, you don't see any thoughts that contradict what she's saying. Does that mean she's not lying? She's smart enough to get the Crown Prince's attention. Why would she be cheating? Unless that was all blackmail that Bellwether was using against her and she wasn't actually cheating. It's hard to tell. You said something about my wayward relative before. Were you talking about Arya? Oh, I'm terribly sorry if I offended you, but I'm sure it must pain you to see the way that she's been acting lately. Yes, it's been extremely hard. Hang in there, Celeste. Did you know that she even interrogated me about the murder yesterday? Can you believe it? A steel wind running around a crime scene like a common night. Why, if I tried something like that, my father would disown me. Does the nobility not approve of Steelwind becoming a prosecutor? You always thought that it is strange. What is motivating her to do this? Honestly, she probably thinks she can do anything just because of her betrothed. Master deserves better. Her betrothed? Huh. There's a lot going on here. I didn't even know she had a betrothed. Maybe her family's like kind of trying to force her into a marriage and that's why she's doing this? There's a lot. But it's clear why the nobility wouldn't want anyone on the court. The nobility gets away with crimes and whatnot by allowing the court to be corrupt. So if someone from the nobility is actually on the court system, then it would be that much easier for other nobility to go to jail, and for the and it'd be harder for them to cover up their misdeeds. So it makes sense why they would hate Arya for becoming a prosecutor. Celeste's eyes perk up upon hearing this. You'd be lying if you weren't also curious about who this Aster is. But you shoot her a stern look that tells her to stay focused. You can't risk blowing your cover for some gossip. Arcane Construct. You have an Arcane Construct in your room? I thought they only had them in the library and the locker room. This construct was a gift from House Von Sanctus. I have to say they're quite convenient to have around. They look really cool. Maybe I should get one. You should. Construct would be far more useful than this attendant of yours. Oh, she's pissed. She hates that she's talking down to Tyrion. Unfortunately, there's still some issues with their intelligence. There are issues when you give them complex commands. It might be easier to show you. Miriam turns to the construct and begins gesturing towards it. Construct, please retrieve my textbooks and bring them here. Then cast Steelwind Strike at this location. After that, retrieve some plates and set them out at this table. Acknowledged. What? Construct stands up and retrieves Miriam's textbooks from one of the shelves in the room. Brings them to the table you're sitting at just like she ordered. Then, it suddenly stops moving. Wait, what happened? Construct obviously can't cast Steelwind Strike, so my second command was impossible to carry out. But did you notice something else? Yeah, I ignored third command. It completely stopped. So, if it's unable to do one of the commands, then it will stop short of what it needs to do. So even if it's given multiple commands, it'll stop immediately after, and it won't continue on to the third one. It won't stop and then reassess itself to go to the third and just skip the second. It just will completely shut down. Oh, I know I already play way too many mobile games on my PS5, but please port this to PS. What do you want them to port to the PS? Oh, this game? Tyrion Cuthbert. I actually am very, let me look into this game. This isn't a new game, as far as I'm aware. I actually am able to play it because I'm sharing in the Steam family. Let's see, when did this game come out? I don't want to spoil myself. Wait, what? It's on mobile for 14 monies. This game came out in June of 2023. That's actually not as long as I thought this was an older game. I don't know why, I just assumed it was an older game. PC, Mac, Android, and iOS, it says. Oh. It definitely is a fun game, especially I love the vibe of like these kinds of games. I've completed all the Danganronpa games. I completed one out of the three Phoenix Wright games and was on the second one. And now, as you can see, I'm like really getting into this one. Like when it comes to like murder mysteries, especially like this, I really like them. I'm tempted to one day replay this visual novel. Okay, I'm gonna be a little sidetracked here. I'm tempted to play this visual novel that there was this creator, right? I think it was called like Rhino Craft Games or something like that. And a friend of mine bought me a visual novel for Christmas of 2019, right? And I enjoyed that game so much. It was like a really, it's not, they aren't very long games. I want to say the game was like maybe an hour to two to complete the entire game. But I enjoyed the game so much that I checked out that person and all their other games, and they had created a couple of other games, and I purchased all their games, like aside from like one or two, because they were all like $3 to $4, because I just wanted to try them all out, you know? And I really liked the way they did the story, that first story. So I tried other stories, and out of like all the ones that I played, I loved all their visual novels. Like I adored this person's stories, but then they went on hiatus during 2020 because some stuff was happening, and I tried to get back to them, and they stopped. They have not made games, and probably will never make games again because like they had a family member pass during 2020. And then they just stopped creating games, and it was heartbreaking because they were in the process of still creating games and like talking about making more, and I think that loss just, you know, killed their desire to continue. And I always check here, fuck, I'll check right now to see, because that's I'm honestly I could do a stream on one of their games, because I actually really like that. Let me find. I would love to. The game is called Artificial Mansion. That's the one. So total playtime was 114 minutes. So it was just short of 6 minutes to play this game, or just short of 6 minutes. It was 6 minutes short of 2 hours. So it took me only 2 hours to complete this entire game. I last played it January 1st, 2020. So 5 years ago. The last time I played this game was 5 years ago, but you can tell how much I enjoyed this game because I still think about this game to this day. This is one of my favorite games. I think I even gave a review for this game. I think I did. Let me scroll down. Did I not? I thought I did. Let me go to my page really fast. We're getting a little sidetracked, but that's fine. That's fine. It's okay for me to get sidetracked. We listen and we don't judge. No, I'm just kidding. Let's scroll down. No, not that one. Nope, not that one. No, it wasn't that one. It was the other game they have that has a H content in it. That's actually the game I got gifted. Was one of the games they had but this one isn't. This one does not have H content. Wait, why'd you say goddamn? What happened? What happened? Oh crap. Gotcha, both of our Steam accounts are 9 years old. Oh yeah, I know. I know. It's very sad for me to remember that. But I made mine what, 2015? I want to say that I made mine at the end of 2015. How do you check that though? I can't even remember how to check that. The day I don't know. Oh, you have the badge. Oh, yep, 9 years of service. Member since October 1st, 2015. So October of this year will make my 10th year on Steam. I will have been on this dang Steam things for a decade. Anyway, so, okay, the name of the developer is Rhino Gears. I doubt they'll ever make another game again. But yes, I own every single game of theirs. They have created 6 games, and I've purchased... Out of the 6 games, I had one of them gifted to me, which is what got me into their content to begin with. And I've played through and completed 1, 2, 3 of the 6 games. One of them is like a puzzle game that I like didn't really get super into. And out of those... three of the games have like adult content, and the other 3 do not. This is unlocked September 6, 2024, so 10 years on September 6th. Oh wow, so you started exactly, well, not exactly 1 month before me, but you started a month before me. To be specific, if I had become a member 5 days later, it would have been exactly 1 month. So 5 days short of a month. I think my sister's account is older than mine. Fair, valid. But yeah, just so I'm not taking too much of y'all's time, I might, obviously I can't do the H game, but I might do the Artificial Mansion since it doesn't have any H content. I might stream that one day. If I did stream that, it would probably just be a straight shot of me just playing the entire game all in one go. Oh, they got a Rhinoceros bundle, Rhino Gears bundle. Honestly, I really like the games, personally. I should have made a review for Artificial Mansion. I'm sad that I didn't. I made a review for the other game. I'm surprised that I didn't make a review for that one. Because I actually really liked Artificial Mansion too. So that does shock me that I didn't make a review for that one. But yeah, I loved Artificial Mansion. Loved it. I was waiting for... I'm sad because I think Artificial Mansion was the last game they ever released too. Let me check the developer. Yeah, it is. The last game they ever published was Artificial Mansion, April 24th, 2019. So about half a year before I ever started playing their games. Unfortunate. And yeah, they'll probably never make another game again. But I still follow them on Steam just because I really like it. So yeah. I wouldn't mind replaying that game to replay it for stream one day. I can't play any of the other ones really. I mean, I probably could. I think only half their games are H games, so I think I can play the other ones on Steam. But the only thing is that I haven't played those games. The other 2 out of the 6, I haven't touched those at all. So I don't actually know how enjoyable they'd be, even though I own all of them. 33, 123 for 7 games. That'd be nice. Nice. They have Necropara on PS4 to 5 with the H served. Lame, actually lame. What's the point of the game then? I mean, what? I said nothing. I ignored your third command too. Correct, my third command was possible to carry out. So why did it ignore that command? Constructs execute a series of commands in the order that they are given. But let's say one of those tasks is impossible to complete. When the construct gets to that task, it will deem the entire series impossible to complete. As a result, it will stop executing the series altogether. So if a task in a series of commands is impossible, then that command will interrupt the sequence of commands. Exactly. Constructs logic limitation. Arcane constructs process tasks in the order that they are given. If a construct is ordered to complete tasks A, B, and C, it will process each of those tasks individually. If task B is impossible, the construct won't realize this until it reaches task B. When it reaches task B, it will deem the entire series of commands as impossible and stop what it's doing, without even attempting to complete task C. Lady Steelwind, I'm afraid we must leave for now if we want to make our next engagement. Oh, right. Let's go, servant. Oh, leaving already? It was a pleasure talking to you. Yeah, sure. I hope to see you around. I know that hurt Celeste having to pretend to be a noble. Make your way back to the foyer with Celeste. Well, last time you spent, you only have a brief amount of time before night falls. You're sure you didn't want to talk to her more? We're getting a lot out of her. We already got a lot of useful information out of her. The more time we spend with her, the more likely she is to see through our ruse. Right. So, why Steelwind? I don't know. I panicked. Arya is like the only noble I know. What about Pierce? I'm not using that creep's name. Well, hopefully Steelwind doesn't mind us borrowing her name. We got her statement on what she saw that day. And it was also what she said about her rapier. But she was lying when she said it was stolen. She was probably trying to establish an alibi. I'm not so sure. Why do you say that? Doesn't it feel too obvious? If she was lying about the rapier being stolen, that would imply that she planned all of this in advance. If she had to choose a murder weapon, why would she choose something that literally has her name on it? I don't understand if the murder was a spur-of-the-moment decision. She might have just used something nearby in this case. If this was a premeditated murder committed by Miriam, that rapier would be the last weapon she would choose. Right? I guess that makes sense. There's also the evidence of academic dishonesty. It doesn't match up with what we heard from Miriam. You know all that stuff about working with the Crowned Prince? She's probably just making things up to look good in front of me. I have an insight when it comes to things like this. Under normal circumstances, I can usually tell when someone is lying. And a lie as grandiose as that would be something I would definitely see through. People can subconsciously shield themselves from the eye of Horus even if they don't know about it. When they do that, you usually can't see any thoughts from them. You also saw that she was lying about her encounter with Bellwether. You would have seen dissonant thoughts if she was lying about her grades. Well, I guess I'll trust your insight. What does this mean? I don't know. Even with everything we found, I'm still not sure who the real culprit is. At the very least, I think we should still try to pull Miriam onto the stand. If she testifies in court, I might be able to find something I can use. It's a big maybe. If you don't play your cards right, you might spook the Fregas enough for them to pay off the judge. Either way, it's getting late. We'll probably have to turn in soon. Yeah, just hope you did enough to equip Wallace. Okay, we're about to go into the courtroom yet again. Doof. So now you'll actually get to see the gameplay of what the court feels like and how similar this is to like Phoenix, right? Like it's very similar. You've got the judge, you've got the two defending sides. Like at least Danganronpa had its like a whole different like style to it. Don't get me wrong, I still find it very what's the word? Entertaining. But it's very easy. It's very, very easy to tell this one's inspired by Phoenix, right? Court is now resumed for the trial of Wallace Nightgrave. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. It was revealed that the trace of necromancy may have not been left by the defendant. It may have been left by a witness who used necromancy to attempt to heal the victim. However, the victim was seen by witnesses well after her time of death. This could only be explained by the defendant using necromancy to animate the victim's body. This leaves the question, where did the murder take place? Does the prosecution have an answer for this? Based on the testimonies of several witnesses, it is very likely that the murder took place in the library. Interesting. What led you to this conclusion, Miss Steelwind? First, I'd like to remind the court where the victim was sighted before the body was found. It began when the victim had a meeting with the headmaster near the center of the building. Okay, yeah. Our meeting was scheduled for 12 p.m. According to my schedule for that day, our meeting lasted for an hour. This brings us to the statement of the next witness, a student at the academy. The student saw the victim walking in the hallways. Sorry coming out of the headmaster's office. She was heading towards the library. Which means that our first witness saw Bellwether leave the headmaster's office. Presumably, this would have happened after her meeting there. That would time this encounter at around 1 p.m. The other event is the discovery of the body, which was when Valentino Ioannis contacted security. Suddenly spotted the professor lying in a pool of blood in the classroom. Valentino used a communication device to call for help while trying to save her. As we already established, this occurrence occurred at 3:04 p.m. But the significance of this time is in what occurred before the body was discovered. The second witness, a member of the cleaning staff, spotted the victim in the West Wing hallway. Beholder knocked over a vase, and there were shards and dirt everywhere. It was probably 20 to 30 minutes before the twins found the body. This means that this encounter must have happened no later than 2:30 p.m. And this implies that the victim was near the library between 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. According to the defendant's statements, he was in the library during this time period. Furthermore, the time of death was at 2:07 p.m. This means that Mr. Hughes saw the victim's animated body. Steelman's deduction. The prosecution's theory lays out the following timeline for Catherine Bellwether's movement on the day of the murder. 12 to 1. Theodore Redmond has a meeting with Bellwether. That's right. 1 p.m. Miriam Frager saw Bellwether walking in the hallways. That's correct. 1 to 2. Bellwether spent time in the library. 2 to 2:30. Wallace Nightgrave murdered Bellwether. 2:30. Jan Hughes witnessed Bellwether walking towards lecture hall 2B. 3. The Ioannis sisters discovered Bellwether's body. Okay. I see, your deduction certainly tracks, Miss Steelman. What do you have to say in your defense, Mr. Cuthbert? The prosecution's argument is definitely well thought out, Your Honor. However, it is entirely predicated on the testimonies of all the witnesses involved. Steelman's deduction has to have a hole somewhere. And since your conversation yesterday, you've had a feeling that Miriam is hiding something. If you want to get to the truth, you'll need to drag that out of her through a cross-examination. Your Honor, to test the validity of these claims, the defense would like both of these witnesses to testify. The defense calls Miriam Fraga to the stand. Fraga? At the mention of her name, the judge's face turns a bit pale. I had a feeling it would come to this. Do you have any objections, Miss Steelwind? I do not, Your Honor. Very well. Bailiff, please escort Lady Fraga to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the... You little snakes! How dare you deceive me? Oh, it looks like she found out. I had the opportunity to brief the witness beforehand. Miss McCoy, for the record, I told you to exercise discretion. I did not mean that you should impersonate a member of my family. Yeah, sorry about that. I gave you all of the tea that I imported from the Eastern Kingdoms. I demand that you return it to me. No! You gave them to me! They're legally mine now! I love Celeste, bro. Celeste is great. I'm not sure what your business with the witness is, Miss McCoy. I'd ask that you please handle your personal disputes outside of the courtroom. What was that? Not sure what your business is. Anyways, Miriam, could you please testify to the court about your encounter with the victim? Yeah, she is right. But I just, if you'd seen her in the first case, like I really do hope you get the chance to play this game. Or if you don't, or if you would like that entire first part, I'll be putting up on my archive channel soon. But yeah, she's great in that first. I mean, it's still up on the Twitch, but I'll be making sure to put that on my archive channel before it goes off my Twitch. But yeah. The thing that's funny about that though to me is that like her whole character is just so chef's kiss. Like if you see all of her interactions throughout the game, like she's my second favorite like cutest character, but she's my top when it comes to like personality. Like I really like Celeste out of all the characters I've seen in this game. Anyways, Miriam, could you please testify to the court about your encounter with the victim? Very well. I was working on a research project in my dorm room when I decided to take a break. I left my room and went on a walk. That's when I saw Professor Bellwether exiting the headmaster's office. She was walking in my direction, so I greeted her, and she responded in kind. After that, she headed towards the library. A short time after that, I went back to my room and continued my work. I see, so it was only a brief encounter. However brief it was, the witness's testimony verifies two things. One is that Miss Frege saw the professor exiting the headmaster's office. The other is that she witnessed the victim head toward the library. This gives us a rough timeline of where the victim was before her death. That does seem consistent. Did Bellwether really enter the library that day? I feel like you would have seen her there if she did. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay, let's see here. Did you see her enter the library? I didn't, but there's not much else in that direction. From the testimony of Jan Hughes, we know that she later came from the library. Even if she didn't enter the library, she was still in that area for more than an hour. Okay. Did anything seem off about her? No, but it was a very short encounter. It's not as if we stopped to have a conversation. You said that you greeted her, and she responded. What words did she use? Why is that important? Here, yeah, because she knows. Miss Frege, it's impossible that someone used illusion magic that day. Every detail about the victim's interactions could be important. Well, I bid her good morning, and she said good morning in response. That's entirely off character about her. She was walking towards me, so I bid her good morning, and she responded in kind. That's actually really, really easy with everyone. She had a history of bullying students. Yeah.
Objection!
Oh, what? It's not that? Fuck. I really thought it would be that. Good morning. Morning, but it would have been afternoon. Oh, that's on me.
Objection!
Why would she say good morning if it was afternoon? Miss Frege, if I recall correctly, you have a habit of getting absorbed in your work. So much so that you'll even lose track of the time of day. Yes, but what does that have to do with my testimony? Earlier in today's proceedings, the prosecutor made the following argument. First witness saw Bellwether leave the meeting with the headmaster without timing this encounter around 1 p.m. Miss Frege, if you had said good morning to the professor, you would have been mistaken, because that encounter could have only happened during the afternoon. And your point is, you said it yourself, Mr. Cuthbert, the witness simply lost track of time. What the witness said isn't what's important here. The significance is in what the professor said in response. She had just come out of a meeting that was scheduled for noon. She would be well aware that it was no longer morning. So why would she respond good morning? Wouldn't she have corrected the witness? Her encounter was extremely short, and the victim's mind may have been preoccupied. She could have easily responded to the witness without thinking. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of agree with her. I was also thinking the same thing. That's not... I get what he's trying to push and how every little thing matters, but it's also something so weak and small to go off of. It's gonna be hard to use this. It's not hard to believe that they were both confused about the time. It's definitely a stretch, yep. You still can't shake the feeling that she's hiding something. Every time you ask her about how Bellwether acted that day, the eye picks something up. There has to be something there. Miss Frege, you haven't been entirely truthful in your testimony, have you? That's absurd. What reason would I have to lie? Such a small detail. Why does he even care? And every detail about how she acted is important, Miss Frege. What aren't you telling us? Mr. Cuthbert, you have no basis to accuse the witness of perjury. Yes, you will stop this at once. Miss Frege, you're lying about how Bellwether responded to your greeting, aren't you? It doesn't make a difference. All she did was yell at me. All she did was yell. Miss Frege, is it possible that Bellwether's response was less than friendly? What do you care? What difference does it make? Why is he being so persistent? My job is to make sure every part of your testimony is truthful. Every detail matters, no matter how seemingly insignificant. Mr. Cuthbert, you will stop this or I will find you in contempt. The professor yelled at you, didn't she, Miss Frege? So what if she did? I mean, I'm sorry, but there's no going back on what you just said. So you do admit that she yelled at you? You impertinent little... Yes, I admit it. The professor didn't greet me back that day. Oh, good morning, Professor. Be quiet. Yeah, that makes sense. That's more in line with how she acts. She yelled at me to be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet was also what happened when Jan Hughes saw her, which means that the arcane construct was what met her in the... Then the murder happened even sooner than I thought. I thought that by the time she came out of the headmaster's room, she was still alive. But if she said be quiet, then it was the construct. Did the headmaster kill her because he knew that she was going to take his job? Did he figure it out and kill her? I think he might have been in on it at least, because he would... The only way that she went in and went out as a construct without him knowing, if she has pre-registered lines, is if he was in on it. Until then, we had always been nothing but courteous with each other. I don't know what got into her that day, but something put her in a foul mood. But that's it. Everything else I said was the truth. They'll believe me, right? That part is true. I did see her come out of the headmaster's office and walk towards the library. So she wasn't lying about that. So is that all, Mr. Cuthbert? What do you mean, is that all? You badgered this witness. Also, you could prove what exactly? The witness committed perjury. The witness changed a small detail of her testimony. A detail that is inconsequential to the case. It was clearly an act with no malicious intent. After seeing her thoughts, it's hard to disagree with that. You were so sure that the eye would lead you somewhere. Frege was only lying to save face. The witness saw the victim leave the headmaster's office and head toward the library. Do you have any concrete evidence to refute that, Mr. Cuthbert? No, I suppose I don't. Wait, is this really okay? At this rate, this will be the only chance you have to cross-examine her. I don't think she's lying anymore. I was really pushing my luck earlier. If I continue pressing her, the judge might actually charge me with contempt. But if Miriam isn't the one that's lying, then... The defense has no further questions for the witness, Miss Steelman. Prosecutor stays silent for a while. She almost looks disappointed. Very well. Miriam, you are dismissed. Miriam still looks like she's fuming, but she leaves the room without protest. The judge breathes a sigh of relief as the young noble is escorted out of the room. Now, with that out of the way, what else do you have, Mr. Cuthbert? The only way to refute the prosecutor's theory is to cast doubt on one of the witnesses. If it wasn't Miriam, then. Steelman, to test your theory, we must question every witness that saw the victim that day. So with that said, the defense would like to call Jan Hughes to the stand. I hope you understand, Mr. Cuthbert. Your entire case rests on the assumption that one of the witness accounts is incorrect. If your cross-examination of Mr. Hughes leads nowhere, then I hope you're ready to concede. I don't like the sound of it, but she's right. Unless you can find something in Jan's testimony, you won't really have anything to prove her theory. Bailiff, please bring in Mr. Hughes. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom. Witness, name and occupation. Right. My name is Jan Hughes. I'm on the cleaning staff of the academy. Mr. Hughes, please testify to the court about your encounter with the professor that day. Sure. I saw the professor when I was cleaning the West Wing hallways. It was about 20 to 30 minutes before the body was discovered. She walked by me, but she looked pretty out of it. I heard she wasn't dead when this happened. Pretty creepy if you ask me. After that, she went into the empty classroom. Well, that was straightforward. Come on, Jan, what are we supposed to do with that? I don't know. You guys are the lawyers. I'm just telling you what I saw. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Did you see anyone else enter that classroom? I'm honestly not sure. I wasn't paying much attention to her. I did think it was weird that she went in there. funky smell. I can't think of why anyone would go there willingly. Alright, the headmaster's mistake put a rancid smell in that room. He's not giving us a lot to work with. He tends to leave out details unless we directly ask him about it. I just need to ask him the right questions. Maybe we can pull more information out of him. Did anything else look off about her? I mean, yeah, she was an undead after all. It remains to be proven. You say so. Anyways, what was her demeanor like? She looked like she was in a bad mood. Either that or she was tired. I guess she was just dead inside, literally. I believe you've forgotten a few details about what the professor did. Yeah? Sorry, it's hard to remember these things sometimes. Which details should you ask him for? Did she do anything? Did she touch anything? Did she make any sounds? Did she make any sounds? Did you hear her make any sounds? Oh, yeah. After she knocked over the vase, she yelled at me to be quiet. I figured it would be this because it's the exact same voice line, because it was scheduled into the construct. It's the exact same thing that was said to Frege. I didn't even say anything. This detail could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony, Mr. Hughes. Whatever you say, man. After that, she went to the empty classroom. She was in dead, which is pretty creepy because she yelled at me. She walked by me, but she looked pretty out of it. I saw the professor when I was cleaning the washing hall before the body was discovered. Which is pretty creepy because she yelled at me. Cannot speak.
Objection!
Mr. Hughes, you said that Bellwether yelled at you. What were her exact words? I think she yelled at me to be quiet. What? I thought it was weird. I didn't even say anything, but I know better than to talk back to her. That's the thing, Hughes. The prosecution's theory is as such. The professor was murdered in the library and was reanimated using animate corpse. With a quick illusion spell, no one would notice that she was undead. However, if what you saw was truly the undead Bellwether, how did she speak to you? Huh? This doesn't make any sense. Mr. Hughes, undead can follow simple orders, but they don't have the intelligence to speak. Perhaps the witness was mistaken. No, I'm sure I heard her yell at me. I remembered because what she said didn't make any sense. Exactly. He didn't say anything, but she still yelled at him to be quiet. I'm afraid I don't understand. We've already established that the victim was dead long before our encounter with Mr. Hughes. But if what he saw wasn't undead, what was it? It had to be an undead. What other explanation is there? It couldn't have been a major illusion. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to shove Jan out of the way or knock over the vase. Whatever it was, someone probably used illusory disguise to make it look like Bellwether. Does that mean it was a person? No. If it was a person, how did Bellwether's body end up in the lecture hall? Bellwether wouldn't have been able to turn herself invisible if she was dead. If she was or were dead. She was dead. Okay. And whatever Jan saw, it needs to be something that could have transported Bellwether's body unseen. If the body was inside of it, it makes sense. It would also, it would have also needed to have a mass and the ability to speak. Recreate Bellwether's voice. Easy, it's a construct. Or at the very least, it needs to be something that can recreate Bellwether's voice. Could have done that. That's it! And she just figured it out too. Do you have an answer for us, Mr. Cuthbert? What did the witness actually see? Your Honor, the witness didn't actually hear the dead victim speaking. What he actually heard was her voice being recreated using magic. Are you trying to say that her voice was recreated using a spell? Not a spell, Steelwind. It was artificery. And whoever the murderer is, they had the perfect piece of artificery available to them. One programmed with Catherine Bellwether's voice. You can't possibly mean... That's right, Steelwind. What Mr. Hughes saw was an arcane construct. An arcane construct? Think of it as a magically animated suit of armor, Your Honor. We ruled out such a possibility, hadn't we? Construct or not, no one could disguise themselves and carry the body to the classroom. A person wouldn't have been able to do it. But arcane constructs are a different thing entirely. Those suits of armor are extremely large. More importantly, they're hollow. I see. That means that theoretically, someone could have placed the victim's body inside it. Yeah, someone could have placed the victim's body inside it. The arcane construct wouldn't just transport the body. With an illusory disguise, it would also confuse and mislead anyone who saw it.
Objection!
I commend your deduction, Mr. Cuthbert. I would have never considered that possibility. It's certainly plausible, but what does this prove exactly? It proves that the body wasn't animated using necromancy. My client isn't the murderer. The defendant is still capable of performing all of the acts that you described. His compendium contains illusory disguise, after all. Yeah, I was thinking that, and he was in the library, so this still doesn't help us yet. There were several students in the library that day. Any of them could have committed the murder. One might come to that conclusion if they didn't have one crucial piece of evidence. I like to present a new piece of evidence to the court. From under a table, you see Miss Steelman pull out the bloody rapier. Blood. Is that? Yes, Your Honor. This is the murder weapon. She was saving that for the perfect moment, wasn't she? This rapier was reported stolen by Miriam Frege weeks before the murder. And during the investigation, it was finally found in the defendant's locker. Wait! He was clearly trying to use one of her possessions in a paltry attempt to frame her. Why, he even stole her locker's nameplate and placed it over his. Damn it, that's not what happened. And honestly, it sounds more plausible than what really took place. Basically back to square one, aren't we? Anyone could have told that construct to do all those things. Wait, anyone? Is that really true? The construct transported the professor's body, and someone used an illusion to make it look like her. He even used a pre-recorded voice to make the illusion more convincing. He ordered the construct to hide the body. Could anyone have done that? Voice lines can only be changed. Every command given to a command is short in its command line. However, this command line must be clearly written. I think it's this. No, that's not right. Conscious are available to students when all other functions are enabled. Headmaster. Wait, what? Or do I have to actually click on his profile? Okay. These games are the reason people don't know you must declare your evidence before the court proceeds. As much as I love it in games, you don't typically just whip out evidence out of nowhere in the court. Damn good trope, though. Yeah, it's fun. It definitely adds to the, like, it'd be way less fun if all the evidence was already in play. You wouldn't really feel like you had any gameplay in the mechanics. I mean, then again, you could still click on the evidence the same way, and it would just be that they had already taken inventory of all the items, and it not just appear in the courtroom out of thin air. But yeah, it definitely adds to the fun of the game when new pieces of evidence just pops up, like the iconic updated coroner's report that got Phoenix Wright's job. Yeah, that and it's not like it's just one side that's doing it, it's both sides. He's pulling out evidence out of his ass right in the middle of the court, and then she whips around and does the same thing. It makes the plot twist way more. It creates way more plot twists and suspense than if we already knew everything that the other person was going to use from the very beginning. Plus, this is a magical court. Exactly. And in this game, it's literally mentioned that the system's rigged. Like, that is literally one of the key elements, is that the nobility has rigged the system in their favor. Like, that's literally mentioned at some point during the first case. Several memories flowed back to you. Mr. Hughes, you said that Bellwether yelled at you. What were her exact words? I think she yelled at me to be quiet. She yelled at me to be quiet. But until then, we had always been nothing but courteous with each other. I don't know what got into her that day, but something put her in a foul mood. Be quiet. Sorry. Oh yeah, and she's... Oh my god, was she dead from the very beginning of the game? Oh my god, yeah, and you didn't see this because you weren't here yesterday, but there's been these weird glitches ever since the very beginning of the game, and one of the first glitches I saw happened with Miss Bellwether. I thought it was something weird, but now I'm starting to think that this character was dead before the game even started. I thought that she died at some point during, but now it's starting to look like when the case first started, like literally you meet her in like probably the first like 5 minutes into the first case, into this case, like within the very, very opening. But now it's starting to look like she was dead this entire time. Previously, I thought she had died, well after, but now it's looking like she was dead. And if that is true, that she was dead by the time she walked into the library, then the murder could have taken place at any point. That is some top tier. Yeah, that is a massive plot twist. Sorry. Be quiet. Yeah, so that the same thing was said to us, and I had just forgotten about it. Eris begins giggling. She seems amused by what's happening. It makes sense she's giggling if she already knows that she's dead. If she was the one that killed her, then that's why it would appear amusing to her, because she would know that it's a construct that's saying that. And he was freaking out, but she would know that all along it wasn't a real person. Construct's voice is just a series of pre-recorded messages. Yeah, and she literally goes on to say that right after. I'm not sure if you noticed, but it uses the voice of Professor Bellwether. Unfortunately, you can't make them say anything other than what's recorded. Only the headmaster can change those settings. You see this right here? Every time she did that, she had that face. The face doesn't last. Like, this would start to appear, right? And then there'd be a glitch. Like, as she started speaking, her face would like appear like this, but then it would glitch and go back to normal. So from the very beginning of the game, she was, yeah. Maybe the headmaster can change those settings. No, it can't be him. What is it, Tyrion? Did you figure something out? I did. But is he seriously the one behind all of this? Miss Steelwind, earlier you said that my client could have orchestrated this entire ruse, but that's simply not true. How so? Anyone could have ordered the construct to carry out the victim's body. Yes, but not everyone can change what the constructs are able to say. Only one individual has the credentials for that. Theodore Redmond, headmaster of the Imperial Academy. Wait, you're not serious, are you? You think the headmaster did all this? I don't want to believe it, but he's the only person who could have done it. It's completely ridiculous. Headmaster Redmond would never do something like this. Miss Steelwind, there's one common element between each of the witnesses' encounters with Bellwether. It's what Bellwether said to them. She yelled at both of them to be quiet. Miriam Frege was particularly surprised. She had a good relationship with the professor. But when greeted by the professor, Bellwether just shouted at her. Almost as if the professor was responding indiscriminately. Greeted by the professor, Bellwether just shouted at her. And recall her encounter with Jan Hughes. The professor knocked over a vase and shouted at him to be quiet immediately after, even though he hadn't said anything. She was responding to the sound of the vase breaking. Now let me ask you this, Steelwind. Where did Bellwether come from before she encountered Miss Frege and Mr. Hughes? Her meeting with the headmaster. Wait, to save his career, yo! I really don't think it's him, but he definitely could be involved because, yeah, she was threatening to take his job. So it wouldn't be entirely... I really think that Eris has something to do with this. But it definitely is possible that there's more than one person. I've been saying this since the beginning, that it's possible that it wasn't just one person that caused this. It appears that the defense truly means to indict Theodore Redman. If so, we have no choice but to take a brief recess until he can be brought here. There's no need. Oh, what the hell? He's already here. Fortunately for you, I'm already in the gallery. The headmaster stood up from the gallery seats behind you and slowly walked onto the witness stand. Has he been here the entire time? Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cuthbert. Wait. It says that he's the only one that's allowed to do it. However, if Eris had pretended to be the Theodore Redman, right, with illusion magic, would she have been able to have bypassed the commands as the headmaster? Surprise, 2 killers! Think they're pulling a Scream 1 twist? Surprise. It definitely could be that it's multiple people, but there's just been a lot weird with all of this. I really think Eris has some major stuff happening here. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cuthbert, but do you think I am the one who committed this crime? I'm sorry, Redman, but no matter how I look at it, everything I found points to you. No, there's no need to apologize. In fact, I should commend you on the lengths that you're going to defend dear Wallace. The court appreciates your understanding, Mr. Redman. Anger. Now then, to clear the air... Wait, what? Oh, wait, what the fuck just happened? Now then, to clear the air, I suppose I should give my testimony on what happened that day. Oh, okay. I was like, why the fuck did that just happen? But it's just the next thing that happened. I just accidentally clicked. Wait, there was anger after Steelman spoke. Huh. That day, I had a meeting scheduled with the professor at noon. She showed up at the expected time, and we discussed various administrative matters. Our meeting went on for an hour, after which she left to prepare for her next class. Despite our many disagreements, we still knew how to be civil with one another. After all, I had no reason to bear a personal grudge against her, and there's the lie, there's the contradiction. I just can't see it. He seems like such a nice person. Is he really the person we're looking for? He has to be. No one else could have orchestrated this entire plot. You just need to find out how and why. Really? Even after the way she's acted toward the students and faculty? Make no mistake, I've heard many complaints regarding her actions, and I've had many conversations with her to try to correct her behavior, but at the end of the day, she was a remarkable professor, regardless of her lack of people skills. His testimony pretty much matches what we know so far. I'm not entirely sure if he's lying or not, but at the very least, we know that he was involved in the professor's murder. But why? Figure out his motive, we might be able to find out how to reveal him to the court. I'm gonna try to present the evidence we know about right here.
Objection!
Yeah. Redman, did you really hold no animosity toward Professor Bellwether? Of course not. I did have strong opinions about her methods of teaching, but I always remained professional. We both did. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. In fact, I think you might have had a very good reason to murder the professor, considering that she was going to take your job. What? So you knew about that. I'm sorry, but I don't follow. Just how was the professor going to take the headmaster's job? According to Miriam Frege, Catherine Bellwether was currying favor with the noble families. In fact, there was a plan to oust Mr. Redman and appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster of the academy. What? But in any case, I doubt that the headmaster had any idea of this until now. I'd like to remind the court of the witness's reaction just now. He said, "So you knew about that." His reaction was one of surprise. But he wasn't surprised by this information. He was surprised that I knew this information. That's... Please, dear Arya, I may be a frail old man, but I'm perfectly capable of defending myself. If you have an explanation, Mr. Redman, then by all means, I'd love to hear it. Gladly. Alright. It is true that I knew about the Frege's plot beforehand, but I had only just learned about it. On the day of the murder, the professor told me about her plan. She was going to replace me as headmaster and replace the staff with arcane constructs. Now you might say that this would have given me the perfect motive to murder the professor. However, the supposed murder weapon was stolen from Miss Frege. This happened weeks before the murder and my discovery of the professor's treachery. I had no knowledge of their plan before she told me. Therefore, I wouldn't have known to steal Miss Frege's weapon and attempt to frame her. Are you satisfied now, Mr. Cuthbert? There is no way that the headmaster could have come up with this plan. If he really did do this, that means he stole her rapier too, right? Most likely. His alibi makes sense. He couldn't have planned this whole thing unless he knew about Bellwether's plans. But there is a piece of evidence. There is a piece of evidence that still points, because Jan knew about this weeks in advance. And if Jan knew, then that's possible others knew too. That would mean he knew about this weeks ago. But how did he even find out? The best way to tell a convincing lie is to leave a lot of truths and only change one detail. Maybe Bellwether did tell him, but she actually told him weeks ago. The question is, how do you prove that? Easy. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. That's actually really easy. I just have to go to... And he says that she told him. Day of the murder. This is where the lie is. On the day of the murder. But Jan's testimony would clear that right up. I just have to find it. Where's his testimony? Where's the testimony? What? Is it gone? Or was it never here to begin with? No, there was definitely a testimony. It's here somewhere. Is it here? According to Jan, Bellwether revealed his plan. Yeah, that's why it merged with this.
Objection!
Let's go. Redmond, you keep saying that you didn't know about Bellwether's plot before yesterday. Do you still plan on standing behind that claim? Of course I am, because it's the truth. I'm sorry, Redmond, but you should really close your doors during your meetings. What? Did someone see? Here. It is true that Bellwether revealed her plan to you during one of your meetings. In fact, Jan Hughes happened to overhear that same meeting, but he only overheard the part where the staff would be replaced. And that's the strangest part, Redmond. According to Mr. Hughes, this meeting occurred weeks ago. You can't accuse the headmaster of perjury based on a rumor. Everything you just said is based on second-hand information. Mr. Hughes distinctly overheard the staff would be replaced with arcane constructs. That is too specific and too accurate to assume that he misheard a different conversation. The professor probably only revealed her plan for the arcane constructs. That still doesn't prove that he knew about her treachery beforehand. Professor Bellwether had no authority over the cleaning staff's employment. It wouldn't make sense for her to just reveal her plan for the arcane constructs. It would only make sense if he knew that Bellwether would be taking his job. So tell me one thing, Redmond. Why did you find the need to lie about this? Is it because you saw a need to protect yourself from my accusations? Redmond, I asked you a question. Did you murder Catherine Bellwether? Oh, he's changed. What a fine mess this is. I'm not done. Not yet. Headmaster? So, you truly plan on pushing this, are you? Well, your thesis sounded promising, Mr. Cuthbert, but I believe your arguments could use a little work. Oh, time for an argument. Jan ratted them out. Ooh, easy dub. He didn't rat him out, it was just, he's the sleepy one from earlier. Yeah, easy dub, easy dub. He's the sleepy one from earlier. Were you here before that? I'm not sure if you were here during the first court session. No, you hadn't come in during that one. Well, he's the janitor that's sleepy, and he overheard while he was cleaning one day. So he didn't accidentally mean to rat them out. He just overheard because it was brought up at one point during the initial questioning that they knew that he had overheard, and all the staff was worried because they knew that they were about to get replaced. You think I killed Catherine Bellwether? Me? I'm an elderly man in his late 80s. I was alone and had nothing to overpower Bellwether with. I can barely walk, much less wield a rapier. How do I prove that that's wrong? This? Yep, but you and Bellwether weren't the only people in that room, were you? You needed the arcane construct to carry Bellwether's body. That means that the construct would have already been in your office. And with your privileges, you could have easily programmed the construct to stab Bellwether for you. Even so, think about that. Think about what would have transpired afterward. Recall Miss Steelwind's timeline of Bellwether's witnesses. The construct would have spent more than an hour in the library. Having it there would have risked my so-called ruse from being discovered. I wouldn't have the construct linger around the library. Timing deduced from Miss Frega's testimony is predicted on one thing. She saw Miss Bellwether exit your office after your meeting. However, if we assume that you're lying about when this meeting ended, your entire argument falls apart. Miss Frega would have encountered Bellwether after her death at 2:01 p.m. Miss Frega wouldn't have made a mistake like that. Miss Frega thought that it was morning when she saw Bellwether. She can't reliably tell the time. Then what about where the rapier was placed? If I really was the murderer, then that would mean I planted the weapon in young Wallace's locker. Several of the students had lockers there that I had access to. Wallace is one of my prized students. If I had to frame anyone, he would be the last person I chose. If you notice, though, he didn't put it in Wallace's locker. It was... the nameplates were flipped. Where's that? Where is it where it says that the nameplates were flipped? You're right, Mr. Redmond. You wouldn't try to frame Wallace. But you would try to frame Miriam Frega. It would have been the perfect act of revenge, wouldn't it? You murder your treacherous co-worker and frame the daughter of the family that helped her. But something went wrong, didn't it, Redmond? The labels on Wallace's locker and Miriam's locker were switched. Anyone who saw that would have easily mixed them up. I am the headmaster of the Imperial Academy. I have records of all the students' lockers and where they're located. There's no reason I would make a mistake like that. If I truly planned this, I would have known where Wallace's locker was. A simple change in labels wouldn't have led me to make a careless mistake like that. It's fair. It's the only thing that I'm a little confused about. But it wasn't you, was it? Your arcane construct was the one who planted the rapier in the locker. Oh, and it can't do advanced commands. It can only do what it's told. So if he ordered the arcane construct to put it inside Miriam Frega's locker, then he would have done just that. It would have opened up Miriam Frega's locker and planted it in there, not knowing Miriam Frega's locker is different. He would know which one is Miriam Frega's, but the arcane construct wouldn't. I thought he overheard him talk weeks ago. I thought it was an info leak he would solve, but he solved the date instead. Yeah. Yeah, he had overheard this weeks and weeks in advance, and when we were questioning him, he heard it. I bet you commanded it to place this rapier in the locker of Miriam Frega. But it saw the ID number on Wallace's locker and assumed that it was Miriam's. This is... Redmond begins desperately stammering, looking for something to say. I'm gonna steal one. Say something. What? Mr. Cuthbert, your theory may be plausible, but there's no evidence to support it. Huh, that's right. You don't have any proof, do you? There's no evidence of my orders. Saying that I could have committed the murder isn't the same as proving I did it. But that's the easiest part. It's every command given is stored in its command log. What? Wasn't there some sort of evidence that we're trying? Yeah, it says every command. So it is, okay, so it was one of them, but it has to be that one specifically. Your arcane construct is still in the locker room where it planted the rapier. All we have to do is take a look inside it and we'll see the blood inside. Is that so, Mr. Cuthbert? What? Why does he still look so confident? No, Mr. Cuthbert, I already checked the inside of that construct during my investigation. The interior was completely clean. What? The construct's primary function is to assist in cleaning, dear Tyrion. They have a function that allows them to clean themselves inside and out. Well, we can still look at its command history, right? Think about it, Mr. Cuthbert. Do you honestly think that the murderer would leave behind evidence like that? I'm sure that whoever orchestrated this plot, they ordered the construct to wipe its logs when it was finished. No. That's right, Mr. Cuthbert. Your case against me is theoretical at best. But I suppose I can still give you marks for trying. Damn it, he thought of everything. Was he seriously able to get rid of all the evidence? Running out of options. You still have one tool left. The Eye of Horus. The advanced Eye of Horus. Ha, it's unbecoming to glare like that, young Tyrion. He's doing it again. Bring yourself back to that moment with Garrick Pierce. Think about what's at stake for Wallace, just like you did with Celeste. His life and his future are in your hands.
Naught can remain concealed.
Empowered Eye. You activated the Empower Eye again. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. So, it happens in the first, but when you have them on the ropes, like this, and his power called the Empowered Eye activates, and it allows him to see not just the surface level thoughts like he had. That's something about this game. I'm not sure if you've been seeing that, but he's been able to see their thoughts. So, here, our main character has no magic, quote unquote, right? Like everyone has to put their hand on a spell compendium to see if they have magic or not, if they're a mage. Well, he does have a spell, but it doesn't show up on one of those spell compendiums. So even though he has this Eye of Horus, since it doesn't pop up on the on it, you know, he has to be very careful not to let people know he has it, because he has a spell that he's been using to help him solve these crimes. And one of the abilities that he saw that he found is that it has an extra ability called the Empowered Eye that lets him not just see surface level thoughts, but lets him dig even further deeper into their head and what they're thinking. You activated the Empowered Eye again. Redmond did a good job of covering his tracks, but there has to be something that he forgot to get rid of. Project. Did he forget to get rid of? the only thing I can think of. I'm gonna have to go with... Did everything I could to cast doubt on Frigga's brat. Can't believe Valerie placed a trace of necromancy on the body. To make matters worse, the construct placed the evidence in the wrong locker. So he did send the construct to the locker room to plant the evidence. Must have also fabricated the documents that accused Frigga of cheating. So all to make her look like the murderer. This doesn't give you anything new to work with. That explains it. That explains what, because she had such confidence in her thing. He was trying to frame her as being a bad student to give her a motive, but the truth is that she wasn't the one. Okay, what else can I glean from this? A rapier? Or maybe the construct itself. Why was the construct in the locker room though? Shouldn't have been there if it had followed my orders. No matter, it wiped its logs. They have nothing on me. So he did order it to wipe its logs. In order to cover all of its tracks, it probably would have done this last. What else did he fail to get rid of? No, he did successfully get rid of the bloody rapier. He put it in one of the... And what else did he fail to get rid of? Oh, he couldn't get it in. He couldn't get the rapier because of her. Why am I thinking of this now? Okay, so I guess it is the rapier. I did everything I could to cast doubt on Frigga's brat. Doesn't give you anything to work with. This? No. What else is there? This? The construct's orders were clear. Plant the body in lecture hall 2B, and then plant the evidence in Frigga's locker. I was supposed to head to the storage room afterward. But if that was an impossible task, it makes sense why it would have shorted out. No, this was the impossible task. For whatever reason, it wasn't able to head to the storage room, so it shorted out. Because if it had stopped at B, then it would have stopped at B and it wouldn't have done B. It didn't stop at B, it completed B, which means C was what the impossible task was. It wasn't able to head to the storage room. What happened? Interesting, the construct wasn't supposed to be in the locker room. Wait, he ordered the construct to go to the storage room. It would have done that after it was finished planting evidence in the locker room. But we found it in the locker room. What stopped the construct from leaving the locker room? The limitation. Raymond clearly didn't intend for the construct to end up in the locker room. So her orders. It was in the middle of doing that when she ordered. And what was in the locker room? I don't know. I'll have to read through really fast. I thought you were. This is pretty dang cool. Makes me think of when I'm in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, it shows you guys stringing together a bunch of cards and it says to win. Well, where it shows like a grid of plays thing. Yeah, I love things like this. That's why I like try my best to get it on like the first try. I feel like it kills the suspense when I like get them wrong. So I try my best not to get them wrong. Witness discovered. Was it the time? Okay, so she was already dead, that doesn't make any sense. And what could have stopped it? The body was reported, and because of that, it stopped. Okay, that makes sense. The locker room locked up for an hour, and since it was impossible for the arcane thing tried to leave the room, but it found that it was impossible and it shorted out. The body was probably reported earlier than Redman expected. This means he probably started the lockdown before the construct was finished in the locker room. How did the lockdown affect the construct's actions? Does this change anything? Redman's series of commands was interrupted by the lockdown. Right, the series of commands would have been interrupted. Wait a minute. Constructs execute a series of commands in the order that they are given. But let's say one of those tasks is impossible to complete. When the construct gets to that task, it will deem the entire series impossible to complete. As a result, it will stop executing the series altogether. So if a task in a series of commands is impossible, then that command will interrupt the entire series. The construct's final command was to wipe its memory. If its orders were interrupted by the lockdown, then it wouldn't have been able to. It wouldn't have been able to wipe its memory because it never got where it was going. That means that the logs are still there. He did order it to wipe its memory, but because it was interrupted, it never got to wipe its memory. It makes sense that you would make wiping its memory the last thing. You wouldn't want it to be before that because it would still show traces, but because it has to be at the end, if anything stops that, then it would leave the fact that the logs are in there. Miss Steelwind, I have nothing more to ask this witness. What? You're not giving up, are you? You even have to ask. Yeah, I thought so. How are you going to prove he did it if he's not testifying? Don't worry, the next witness's testimony will be all I need. Next witness? The look on your face isn't one of defeat. Just what are you planning? Huh, it's nothing but desperate bravado. Now, if you'll excuse me. You let your quarry get away, Mr. Cuthbert. I hope you know what you're doing. I do, Miss Steelwind. First, I'd like for the Inquisition to bring in the arcane construct in the Academy's locker room. I've already established that the murderer could have wiped its memory. Please, just humor me for a second, Miss Steelwind. Very well. Bailiff, please relay Mr. Cuthbert's request to Commander White. Well, here's your construct. Hope you know what you're doing, Mr. Cuthbert. Construct! What are your orders? Please recite your command history. Reporting. Command 1, stand by in Headmaster's office. Command 2, await vocal signal, attack from Theodore Redman. You hear Redman stand up from the gallery. Seeing this, the prosecutor watches him and carefully clutches the handle of her cane. Command 3, treat Catherine Bellwether as a hostile entity and neutralize. Construct, wipe your... Hold. Before he can finish the sentence, the prosecutor points her cane at the headmaster. Magical energy shoots from it and collides directly with him. The magic wreaths around his body and stops him from moving. He's clearly trying to struggle against it, but it looks like he can't even move his mouth. Miss Steelwind? Excuse the interruption. Please continue. Command 4. Await vocal signal. Leave from Theodore Redman. Command 5. Move to classroom 2B. Reply to any inquiries with voice line number 3. Command 6. Remove Catherine Bellwether from interior frame and place on floor. Thank you, Construct. You can stop now. I think we all know the rest. But just to be clear, who gave you the series of commands? Commands were provided by Headmaster Theodore Redman. So it was the Headmaster. That's genius. I have no idea how people come up with these plots. Yeah, I love the plots in these murder mystery games. How? How? I ordered the construct to wipe its command history. Mr. Redman, constructs don't follow the same logic that humans do. They're prone to error when their commands are impossible to execute. Impossible? In what way were my commands impossible? You were the one that made it impossible. You activated the lockdown system. The lockdown. The body was found earlier than you'd like. You had no choice but to immediately activate the lockdown system when it was reported. However, the construct was still in the locker room when you did this. So that's why it was there. The construct finished its task in the locker room, but then it tried to follow your next command. It tried to move to the storage room, but it was prevented from doing so. Completion of that command was impossible, so the series of commands was stopped before it wiped its history. Ugh. Theodore Redman, you ordered your construct to murder Catherine Bellwether. And you had it place the murder weapon in a locker to frame Miriam Frege. And we have your construct's testimony to prove it. And that's checkmate. I can't believe it. How could you do something like this, Headmaster? She was going to take everything from me. My position, my academy, my students. I can't say that I blame him. She was a mega bitch that was having everything given to her, not only to everyone around her, but to the students, the staff, but she was also going to take over, which would have been horrible. And by all means, I'm on his side. She deserved to die, but at the end of the day, he still killed her, so he has to go to jail for his crimes. Like, I get why he did it. Fuck that chick. Fuck the nobility, too. Everything would be gone. It was going to be stolen by her and the Freges. Why didn't you say anything to me? I could have... You dare stand there and act ignorant, Lady Steelwind. Do you think the Freges acted alone? Your father was a part of this plot, too. Damn. What? I have nothing to say to you. I thought you were different. I listened to your lies about societal reform. In the end, you were just like the rest of the aristocracy. But she has no connection with her father, so that's not really on her. By the scale, Lord, what have I done? I was even willing to sacrifice poor Wallace. I can't believe Why did I listen to you? Why did I do this? Yeah, she's a powerful mage. I'm scared of Eris. I'm scared of Eris. That fear that Celeste was feeling, I very much understand it now. She's literally has some kind of spell that allows her... Oh, all those murders where it said that people's had mind control. Why did I listen to Eris? Eris is the one that made him do this. It wasn't him. It's not even on him, it's on Eris. Appears we have a full confession. The court sees no reason to prolong this any further. Bailiff, please escort the witness to a holding cell. Fuck! I'm not scared of Eris as well. She is a cute but turns me. Mr. Cuthbert, you really did it! It feels amazing, right? Like a big weight being lifted from your shoulders? You girls who are insane is like my immediate win condition. Yeah, if you haven't played my side is such a great game. The only thing my only complaint is that I did not stream that game. I'm so heartbroken that I don't have that playthrough for y'all. I loved every second, and with what you're saying, I know you'd love Mita. You would absolutely love Mita the same way I did. I just wish I'd gotten all my reactions. Under your life. Very valid, and all the Mitas are adorable. And I'm in the middle of a second playthrough, which you can see on my channel. Selfless promo for myself. But yeah, you can scan through it. It's not gonna be as fun because it's not my first reactions, and that's the only thing I'm sad about. I really wish, again, too late to really be too bothered by it now, but I'm so sad that I can't show y'all my first reactions to that game because it was so good. It was so good. But yeah, I feel you. Feels amazing, right? Like a big weight being lifted from your shoulders. It does, but I can't believe the headmaster was the one who did this. Right? Despite everything Redmond did, he was the one that allowed Wallace to pursue his dreams. I'm sorry. I'm sure this is bittersweet for you. What am I going to do now? Headmaster Redmond was the only reason I could even attend the academy. I'm gone. Come on, don't think like that. You got acquitted. I'm sure it'll all work out. I don't agree, but necromancy is basically taboo. Without Redmond's support, there aren't many places he could learn it legitimately. And then there's the Imperial Academy. Hey, don't you get all sad on me too. Sorry, I was just thinking. With Redmond gone, the Freges will probably just appoint another sycophant as their headmaster. Valentina, Valerie, and Jan, they're all going to lose their jobs. Come on, you found the truth and you put a murderer behind bars. You saved Wallace. She's right. As you start to exit the courtroom, there she is. This is the baddie. Miss Tamora herself, Ruby Tamora, his mentor. I have an image of Monica protecting Claire from Mita. One of my favorite images is late. Nice. Start to exit the courtroom, you're greeted by Miss Tamora. Was she in the gallery this entire time? Sorry, Mommy. Facts. At the end of the day, you saved Wallace from a wrongful conviction. Like, that's what I'm saying. Mommy. Sorry. At the end of the day, you saved Wallace from a wrongful conviction. You should be proud of yourself for that. I suppose you're right. Maybe I am just overthinking things. The doubt still lingers in your mind. Come on, I'm taking Wallace to that restaurant we went to last time. Do you remember how much that place cost? Don't worry, I have plenty of gold. Am I the only one on this team not making any gold? It's because both of the people that he's done trials for. The first one was her. This was the first case. The first trial, he didn't get any gold from supporting her, and she did have the money to pay, but Miss Tamora asked that because she's a mercenary, she asked that she asked that Celeste become his bodyguard instead of paying him for him saving her, and she agreed, right? So that's why he didn't get any money from this one. And for the second one, he did charity work for this guy, and he didn't have to, but he did charity work for him, and he did it for free even though he didn't have money because he knew he was innocent. Why don't you meet us there, Celeste? I need to talk with Tyrion for a moment. Alright, let's go, Wallace. Okay. You activated the Empowered Eye again, didn't you? She doesn't appear to be praising you. I did. I didn't really have a choice. Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion. That's twice now that you used the Empowered Eye to get out of a tough spot. You can't keep relying on it if you want to grow as an attorney. One day you'll find a witness that the Empowered Eye won't work on. It's worked for me this far, though. God, I love that look. Oh my god. I'm down bad for that look, bro. Like, yes, please. I'll do whatever you want. I'll bark. I'm gonna start barking. No, I'm just kidding. You didn't hear that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this looks, damn, she a baddie. Okay, anyway. But I suppose you're right. I'll try to rely on it less next time. And that marked the end of another case in my career as a defense attorney. Another life saved, and another murderer brought to justice. But I still couldn't shake this feeling of uneasiness. Was it guilt for what would happen to the faculty staff? Or was it something else? That's it. 2 episodes done. Bada bing, bada boom. Man, Steelman has been talking with the perp for hours. What's there to even ask at this point? Turns out she doesn't trust his testimony. Something about his memory is not matching up with the crime scene. I don't think he has Mage Blight, does he? No, it's not that. She found that damn symbol etched into his desk. What did she call it? Purple mark? Oh, for the love of... Not this again. If the little lady wants to chase the boogeyman, just let her. At least this time she's doing it personally instead of dragging us into it. Cast sleep. Hey, what's up? Who did this to your desk? What has gotten into you? I've already admitted to everything. What more could you possibly want from me? Where did this graffiti come from? What is this symbol? What is this purple mark? What is the purple? I don't know. A student must have done it at some point. Very hard, Headmaster. When did you receive this purple symbol? Focus on the moment you received this. Wait a minute. I remember it now. But how? Lady Steelwind? Lady Steelwind! Arya, what happened? Are you okay? It was close. My elation over meeting him almost made me forget. Iris, what are you doing here? Why? Wait, I remember now. It was you. You put those ideas into my mind. You're the one who told me to murder Bellwether. You humans never fail to amuse me. I didn't make you do anything. Everything you did that day, all the planning, all the preparation, that came from your own mind. And I have to say, I was quite entertained with the scheme you came up with. Why, you even broke into Miriam's room. I didn't know you had it in you, old man. You made me forget about our conversation. But how? Illusions can't affect the mind. Magic can't affect the mind. It's a shame, though. I would have much rather turned Wallace into the antagonist of this chapter. Could you imagine if he turned? It would have been spectacular. Armies of the undead running rampant in the streets. But alas, even I couldn't corrupt his pure soul. Answer me. Who are you? What are you? Who am I? I'm the Lord of the Sixth Circle. Ah! Yeah, she killed him. I knew she was gonna kill him when I saw the other two get knocked out. Hot? What do you mean hot? Not the evil necromancer lady. Necromancer was uncorruptible, yeah. It's probably because he was learning necromancy, which is a dark art, but he was learning it for selfless reasons because he was trying to become a doctor. That's probably why she wasn't able to corrupt him. I actually really like this game. Let me check on Steam really fast to see if they came out with a second one. Something else here. Is this just DLC? Yep, the soundtrack. The soundtrack is for purchase. Let me check Diamond Hurge Entertainment. They have another game, and they have the demo. The demo came out 21, so yeah, we probably won't be seeing another. It is very good though, but we probably won't be seeing another. Got a patch. What's the patch do? It just fixed minor issues. Probably won't be getting, but they're still making patches and doing stuff with this game even a year later. I understand the ratings. She's my #1 for this game. Settled. Oh my god. I checked that they don't have any Steam cards or profile stuff. Unfortunate. That is unfortunate because I'm actually enjoying this game. I wonder if game has trading cards and stuff. I'm not saying any. Yeah, this was on my Steam library. I hadn't actually purchased this game, but thankfully because I'm with a Steam library with a friend, I'm able to play through this. But I do think that this is a good spot to wrap up the stream. Just because that was actually a lot longer than I was expecting it to take. I thought it would take maybe 2 hours max, just because I'd already done so much yesterday. Like I grinded all the way to the very beginning of the case, like the very beginning of the trial rather. But no, even being at the very beginning of the trial, this was over 3 hours. And when you take into account that it's going to take when you take into account that we're going to be starting case number 3 from the very beginning, then I'm probably not going to be even able to finish all of chapter 3 in my next stream, unless I do an incredibly long stream, like 5 hours, which means I'd have to start earlier in the day. Which I don't know if I want to just burn through an entire case like that. As much as I enjoy playing, don't get me wrong, that's a lot all at once. But you never know. I might. For the time being, though, this is a good place to call it. I won't be ending the stream just right away. This gives me some time to discuss. 1 second. Some of the other games I could potentially do. CC gave me quite a bit of recommendations. Um, um, Yawning. But there's also, I need to remember the Rhino games. The Artificial Mansion was a really fun game, and I would not be opposed to replaying this at some point. I've only got 3 cases left of the 5. Nice overlay, by the way, with the Kumas. Oh yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I've got it's actually something that it's randomized. Because if you look, it's the I need to fix this here. Let me go onto my I'm opening up my own stream. Lamau. Let me mute myself. I don't want to hear myself. Uh, you cannot call in to join your own stream. Can I call in to join someone else's stream? Wait, let me check something. Okay, well this person's unavailable. But yes, I guess you can if they allow it. That's kind of cool. Um, that's kind of fun. But yeah, it's not a overlay. Just it's the stream avatars. I need to like fix this up real nice. Do you mainly still message on Discord? Oh yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I I I find it really funny, especially because the Doki Doki Literature Club was a game that was so good that got me into writing to begin with. One of the poems got me into writing to begin with. Like that's literally why I started writing. It was one of those poems. Um and that's what like really got my passion for it. And then my side was just equally as like beautiful of an experience. So both of those games hold a very special place in my heart. Um but what I'm looking for right now is I'm trying to find all the yeah. So there's a bunch of different avatars here that you can so there's like there's a bunch of there's like the all of the Danganronpa characters from the first game, from the second game, and from the third game. And like it's just a whole pack of Danganronpa characters, including the Kumas. But I think um let's see. Yeah, I only made certain ones free. I made all of the Kumas free. Um, and then the other stuff, they're supposed to only cost points, I think. Thought that that's what they cost. Can you buy any of the stream avatars with points? Or have I been wrong this entire time? Currency settings. Currency name gold, stream avatars. It's supposed to give. Maybe I'm not giving enough. Do you have any gold right now? Because it's supposed to give you gold. Are you seeing like any points next to it at all? Oh, you have 19.6 thousand gold? Or is that your channel points? Okay. So yeah. If you unlock the character with your points, you can you should be unlocked them. I'm not telling you you have to. I'm just saying that that's how you get other ones. Like if you don't want a Monokuma, if you want one of the other ones. 19.6 thousand gotcha coins. Um, if I see, this is something I have to figure out, because is it not letting you unlock one with the coin, with the gotcha coins? Because you'd have to scroll down on the page. Like, it should be the stream avatars. It should be letting you unlock it with the points. Unless I have this. Yeah, switch transactions, enable currency commands. Unless I've done something wrong. Let me look up how to unlock. How to unlock character stream out. You see the emails? Because when I scroll down on the page, like if you scroll down under the stream, it should show the extension for it. Like, it should show the extension for stream avatars. And you should be able to buy it on the extension. Otherwise, because the stream avatar says that it's supposed to give um an income amount. Followers are supposed to get 1 gold every 2 minutes. So after you know, an hour of just like lurking in here, you should have 30 gold. I think. No. Yeah. So 2 hours would be 60. Yes. 1 per 2. Yeah. So which that was just a placeholder, you know, so I could see how long it was taking people when I first did it, but now it's seeming. Do you have a second account you can check on with the phone? Actually, I do have my phone that I could open this with. Let me check. That is a very valid point. Let me open up my stream. Okay, let's check this out really fast. I don't want to open the app. Actually, it's only letting me see it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it mobile. Are you on mobile or are you on PC? Oh, I think I found it. I'm not sure. See, I'm not sure if you can actually do it on mobile. I think you might only be able to do it on a PC because it's a PC extension. I think. Let me whip out the laptop. Dubs. That was something I just realized is that, yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that, that if people are watching from their phone, they're not going to have any way to buy or unlock any of these characters. I wonder if there's a way that I could use a command so that people could buy them from the channel point section. Unsure. Definitely something I should look into though. Da-da-dum. Pulling up Twitch on PC. Big dubs, big dubs. Give me 1 sec. Alrighty, alrighty. No rush at all. I appreciate you doing this. Dum-dum. The Lenovo laptop clutch. Big clutch. Oh, I was also talking yesterday about how I need to do the wheel again. Honestly, I think when I start the next stream is when I'll do the wheel. I'm not sure if you remember the wheel, but I used to spin the wheel at the start of the week. So technically today is when I should have spun it, but I forgot. No, yesterday is when I should. No, today, because today was Monday. It's just turned Tuesday because of the time. But no, I'll do it. I'll do it tomorrow. When I stream, I'll do the wheel, because I was already wanting to do this again, and I'll put Tyrion Cuthbert on it. I'll put Artificial Mansion on it. I'll put Superland on it. Uh, Persona 5 on it, and like one other game. And then I'll spin the wheel, and I'll let the wheel determine. Um, I'll let the wheel determine something. The wheel will definitely determine something. Oh, yeah, what we play. What we play. There we go. Goodness. And I'll fix up my schedule. Oh, this laptop is running slow. There's no rush. There's no rush. I just appreciate you doing it. Actually, since this is taking a second, this actually gives me time to edit my schedule up. What does the schedule say? Okay. Time to edit. Time to edit the schedule. Perfect. Monday, 12-hour endurance stream. Damn, it was that long ago. June 14th through the 15th. Oh my god. That means that I have not updated my schedule since June 14th through the 15th. Is that June 14th through the 15th of June 14th through the 15th of 2023? Oh no, I don't trust Lenovo, shit says. June 14th, that's my birthday. What? That's crazy. That was it? Or is this just an old schedule? No, this is when I used to yeah, I'm pretty sure I used to update this. I think so, at least. Wednesday, Thursday. I'll just put TBD for everything right now. And then when I spin the wheel will determine for us. Submit. I'll unedit that. Schedule for the week. June, let's go Jan 14th through to Sunday, which would be the 26th through 26th. No, that's way too far. 19th. I was like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I skipped an entire week. Okay. Jan 14th through the 19th. Monday was Tyrion Cuthbert. But for the rest of the days, we can fix that up. Okay. I think that's fixed up now. Oh, what? Did it not apply? Did I forget to apply? Is there an apply button? Oh yeah, there's a submit button. Oopsie. Okay, I need to fix that. Jan That's crazy that it's the exact same day, just like months later. It's still the 14th. It's a hand-me-down and all I got for a computer. No, that's valid. At that point, trade in for a Mac. I'm gonna just get a PC when I finally get an apartment with my roommate. Valid, valid. Um, do any of these even work? I want to test something really fast. UDO. Does this still work? Or does that only appear on stream? Is I need to remember how the BTTV emotes work. I'll figure it out. Now I just gotta find where the avatar is on PC. So when you go on, when you are on the page, if you just scroll with your middle mouse button down, it'll show all the panels, and one of the extensions is the stream avatar panel, or the stream avatar extension rather. Oh, there's this site I found that got cheap yet nice PCs if you want it, Levi. It's the same as phone waiting for your avatar. See, waiting for your avatar is what I'm seeing too. But it's like that for everyone? It's not disconnect. Oh, I'm dumb. Hmm. Uh, okay, can you check now? Okay, I'm just an idiot, apparently. I forgot it wasn't connected. I had turned it off because I was getting ready to end stream. That explains it. But are you able to buy characters now? I have 6,640 gold because it's giving me gold at the same rate it gives other people gold. But I'm here for every single minute of every single stream, so I'm at almost 7,000 gold. 61. Okay, so then that's working. You were here for about 2 hours, you've gotten 60 gold. So then it's working. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's a fair price? Yeah, it's 300 gold. Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think that it's fair that you get 1 gold per 2 minutes? I feel like realistically, how long would that take to unlock everything? If everything's 300. Let's see. If everything's 300, you get 30 per hour, and 30 times 10 hours equals 300. So 300 to unlock 1 character. Because I think if I go into stream avatars, I can't check it while it's open. But I think everything that's not free is 300 gold. Crap, did I accidentally pick one of these for myself? And then the Gacha title ones are all subscriber only, I believe, which I think that's very fair because I actually commissioned these. But if you do subscribe, you instantly get access to all. Wait, so yeah, you can access any of the Gacha title ones if you want right now until you're able to unlock the other ones. If you scroll all the way to the end, there's three different avatars. They also have accessories, but I don't know how you do the accessories. There's like accessories you can get, but I forget how you add those. So yeah, 10 hours per character, which I think that's fair. I think that's fair because if I make it too easy, then people are gonna unlock all the characters in my first 3 streams. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like the reason I left it, I feel like it's mildly fair. Like within a year of streaming, you're gonna have easily unlocked all of these. Probably not even gonna take that long if we're being honest. If I'm streaming 3 hours a day, um, and let's just say you don't even want to watch the stream. Let's just say you want to lurk, right? Okay, so you can use the avatars. Nice. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Um, I wanted people. That's the whole reason I commissioned those, is that so when you sub, you're getting just a little bit extra. I feel good about that. Cause when I when I made the when I first bought this, right, Stream Avatars, because it's something you have to buy off Steam. Um, I didn't I didn't feel right because you can charge like you can put subscriptions or gifts for anything. But I didn't feel right using other people's artwork to make money off of. However, I feel right charging or like putting the Gachito ones behind a paywall because that feels more like that's something I commissioned, right? So if I make money off that, I don't feel I don't feel bad about that, right? Like if someone wants that or if, they get that with it, I don't feel bad about that. But locking these other ones behind a subscription just feels cheap. That's why every character that's not one of the Gachitos is something you can purchase. I'm seeing 4 different versions of Gachito here, but I swear there's like accessories you can buy and stuff. I just forget how you do that. I definitely added accessories. Is it only the block guy? Well, it's showing different variants of the block, dude. Why am I not seeing variants of Gachito? Alright, this is all stuff I'm gonna have to look into after the stream. I swear you can like add hats and stuff. I swear you can. I thought. Important random question. Yes. Do you play Pokemon? Depends on which one. The last Pokemon game I played was Violet and Scarlet, and I never beat it, sadly. We're not gonna talk about that. That's like the same. That's like the I literally had beaten every Pokemon game since like Emerald. I had beaten at least one version, not every version, but I'd beaten one of the versions since Emerald. So since Alpha Ruby Emerald, I'd beaten one of each game aside from Sun and Moon because I didn't like the Sun and Moon games. I literally played up to like the first quote unquote gym and I just disliked it so much that I dropped the game and didn't pick the game back up until Sword and Shield, and then I beat Sword and Shield. And it's not that I don't, it's not that I dislike uh, Violet and Scarlet. I just had so much else going on in my mind. I just haven't really I couldn't really play a handheld game like that. I'm rotting my mind doing the same extremely painful task. I'm guessing you meant to say task there. But are you playing like when you say Pokemon, did you mean like Pokemon? I'm guessing you meant like Pokemon Go. Oh no, you meant like actual Pokemon. Well, I'm trying to get a shiny Togepi, but not just any shiny Togepi, a hyper specific Togepi. Oof. I remember my days of like running around back in Omega Ruby, back when the chain system was really good for catching shinies. I literally got a shiny Ralts, a shiny Beedrill, a whole bunch of shinies from the fishing method, because the fishing method gave me a bunch. Pokemon Platinum, Cynthia gives you an egg. That egg can be shiny. Oh my god. Yeah, no. If it's not one of the methods that makes it, oh, oof, fuck that. I did the chain and I kept doing the chain. I did the chain maybe like 10 times and got it up to like 200 plus for a Zigzagoon, and I never found a shiny Zigzagoon, and that was when I finally gave up in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I just stopped trying to catch shinies because it threw me off so bad. Yeah, I am so sorry for you. I am so sorry. I remember my shiny hunting days. Good times, good times. God, that takes me back. I was still in high school when I used to do that. That was like a decade ago. That makes me sad. That's actually nostalgic. Um, but yeah, all the mono, all the mono kids are free. Uh, all of the all the variants. So it's not just the mono kids, but the variants of Monokuma are all free. Um, Alter Ego's free, just because I thought it'd be funny to see people picking Alter Ego. And from, you know, from a couple streams, honestly, if you stay in here just for a couple streams, you should be able to unlock one. And realistically, I feel like being able to leaving them all at 300 is just really generous of me too, because like realistically, it's only going to take you a shit ton of time if you're like a collector that wants to collect all of them. Most people are only going to collect like one or two and then probably forget about it and just use like one the entire stream. But all the more reason, why I feel like it's a pretty fair system. But I'm getting off track again. I want the Cynthia egg, shiny hunting, and Scarlet Violet, ridiculously easy. I haven't tried it, but I imagine I can see why it'd be easier. A lot of the the newer the games, the easier it gets. Um, but you've given me something to think about. I'm gonna try to see why the accessories aren't available for purchase, and because I'm not seeing the accessories, I'm seeing that, but I'm not seeing the variants. So I'm gonna try to look into that. You can make sandwiches that drastically raise shiny odds. That's crazy. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right. Now I am gonna say I think this is a good time to end the stream. Not trying to cut you off. If you want to continue our conversation on Discord, we can. It's just anyone that's watching this VOD is going to be like, why is there just a solid 20 minutes after he clicked the stream ending? I feel bad for everyone that goes into my archives because a lot of my archives are just like this. Or like, yeah, we troubleshoot and we doing stuff. A lot of my archives are like this when it comes to my streams. It's just a lot of just sitting around. Like the Balatro, I was trying to show Sean my Balatro gameplay, and just so many times in that stream, I just stopped and just had a full conversation with chat like this. But yes, I'm cool. I'm down to continue this conversation on Discord. I'm gonna do a little more troubleshooting too while we're having that conversation. But yeah, I'll do the wheel tomorrow. We'll get back with the wheel. Let me actually. Yeah, the wheel's still here. The wheel is still here. So I just need to continue. I just need to update the wheel. Stream tomorrow. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fun. And we'll see what games we get and how everything goes. For the time being, as always, thank you all for being here, for supporting me. It does mean a lot more than y'all know. Coming back into the uh, coming back into this, I wasn't expecting to see my stream so lively, and it makes me happy. Like this actually, like, mm, uh, I know I'm dragging on a little bit here, but it really, even just having one person in stream with me talking, just makes streaming that much more enjoyable for me. Because I enjoy playing games, but it's just so much more fun when I have these conversations and I'm able to talk with people about what's going on, you know? Uh, and we get games like the Bad End Theater or this one where I get really invested into the game, so it's a lot easier for me to like stream. Uh, yeah, we got two people exactly, and so it's a lot easier to stream, when I'm like invested in the game because yeah. I think Takio's still here, but But that's the thing, is that like I don't always have games like this where like I'm just super invested in what I'm playing, you know? Either sometimes it's a game I'm trying out for the first time and I'm just not enjoying it all that much. Sometimes it's just a game, I'm used to, so, I'm not as invested. And having these conversations really, really helps with like, really getting super into the stream. And so having people pop in here and have these conversations and all of it, it's just this is what I love about streaming. This is why I like being a streamer and why I don't want to be like, I don't want to lose this anytime soon. I do want to grow, but I want to still be able to have these conversations and stuff, and it's nice. And yeah, but I will go ahead and end the stream here because again, it's been a long time, and on the VOD it's gonna be like, what the hell? But all right, thank you again. I hope to see you all again tomorrow. I think I'll be streaming tomorrow. But if not tomorrow, then whenever the next time is. For whatever we're doing. I'm not gonna say Tyrion Cuthbert because as much as I'm enjoying this game, I do know that I need to start playing some other stuff. So whatever the wheel decides, that is what we'll be doing. I'll have the whole updated schedule tomorrow. Uh, and that's it. That's all I've got. So thank you all again. And wait. I close at work, so if it's around the same time, I'll probably be here. All right, nice, nice. It probably will be. It probably will be. Um, I've been enjoying these night streams, so if it's not like at midnight, it'll probably be like shortly before that. But I'm trying a lot harder to get around to streaming longer. Because I feel like my streams have been a lot shorter compared to what they once were. My average time, like when we go back to 2021, was like I was doing like 3.5 to 4 hour streams on average. And then back in like 2022, especially 2023, my streams were like an average of like 2 hours. And I really wasn't happy with that. I was like doing 1.5 hour to 2 hour streams. Um, and I wasn't happy with that. I'm not happy with those like really short streams. Like at that point, it's like, why am I even streaming? Like, uh, I want to get back into like the swing of like doing like those 12-hour streams too. Not all the time, but like, I do enjoy when I have like the longer streams. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's the plan. So far, I'm feeling really happy with myself. I've been getting around to hitting around that 4 hour mark nearly every time. Today it was only gonna be about 3.5 hours. Um, but it's fine. We're almost at 4 hours, and that's just because I talked. I yapped myself all the way up almost to 4 hours. But I was happy with the 3.5 hours. Like that 3.5 to 4 hour mark is like a good spot for me. Anything above that, I'm happy with that. But that's what I'm aiming for, is at least 3.5 to 4 hours as like an average. But okay, I'm gonna go for real now. Thank you all for joining me, and click.